Hello, everyone. Welcome back for another session. Today on this beautiful Sabbath, we have a 30th of July. Yes, 30th of July, 2022. I'm gathered with Michael here on Skype. And Michael has been working, laboring hard for many months to bring us these sessions that he's done in German as well, on the conspiracy series dealing with the JFK assassination. And we would like to thank you for your patience and thank you for your attention. And those of you that really are wanting to approach this topic again, we welcome you to this session. And, despite all of the forces that act against this, I really appreciate the work that Michael has done, and I'm looking forward to continuing in this series till we finish. And we're going to just hope that our listeners will be able to take the time to come with us along for the ride, because there's a lot of material that we covered. And of course, both Michael and I did not grow up in this time when the assassination took place, and we know that a lot of our friends and relatives did, and they have a lot of memories that go back to those times in the United States. But Michael's in Germany, and it's a really interesting, Michael, to have your perspective from Europe. So welcome, Michael.
Yeah, hello, Brett. Thank you for the introduction. Hello, the audience. Thanks for keeping on or tuning in. I have to admit, I'm really fed up with all the Kennedy thing. But I think that we need about 6 to 8 sessions from now on, and then we will be finished, because I won't do that forever and ever and ever. Because you only have to see that that there are some valid points in it that I think that the majority won't get, not because they don't get it, but because they are not just going deep into the research of things. And I know that some people are accusing us of, does not help anyone also. But the thing is, though, that I just do that once, as I did it with the media, as I did it with the music, as I did it with science. I'm just doing it once, and this is the prime example, is John F. Kennedy, for severe reasons. And I apologize, so to speak, for just at the moment for the secular thing, but I think that soon you will see what the background is of the Kennedy assassination, because I'm eager to do the later or the final sessions then in a few weeks with the clerical background. So that at the moment it's just the Pink Panther. Well, the Pink Panther was an icon of the comic series, but actually it derived from a movie from the so-called character Inspector Clouseau about the Pink Panther Diamond. And we know that about his Ezekiel 28:13, that Lucifer also was been equipped with precious stones. And so it is a precious diamond called the Pink Panther. And in the trailer for the Pink Panther real movie with real actors, with Peter Sellers, etc., there was also that character called the Pink Panther. And there are some strange references from the Pink Panther movies. And why we have called this session Pink Panther with a subtitle very soon, you will find out very soon. Yeah, so Pink Panther also got the so-called elephant in the room. Yeah, so it is not in the room, but it's just at a lake or what else, at a waterhole. And Paul is doing here the 666 sign. Yeah, it's a little bit mirror image here, but nevertheless. So that session has a subtitle, and the subtitle is called Operation Blue Bird. What does that have to do with the Kennedy assassination, you might ask? Yeah, I think something. First of all, we know that all the people are lying to us. They are betraying us. And you see that this is just like a criminal investigation when it comes down to the Kennedy assassination. And some people have called his wife, so the so-called, or then called First Lady, Jacqueline Kennedy. She does not want to be called Jackie, by the way. Jacqueline Kennedy approaching here on the trunk of the presidential limousine as the Pink Panther. And it's very interesting because if you compare that Pink Panther thing, which we will later do, that movie came out almost to the exact day or date when the Kennedy assassination took place. So let's look it up at the moment. So when, yeah, the Pink Panther, 1963. So let's do it in English. Yeah, look how close it is to the assassination. The Pink Panther.
Man.
Mm-hmm. Oh, but it's after Inter Mirifica. It was in the beginning of December. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But let's go back to the script. So the Pink Panther. Jacqueline Kennedy. I told you I'm really fed up with all the Kennedy, but we have so far reached about 85%, and now we are going for the rest. So what does she have to do with the things about the Kennedy assassination? Well, you see that, yeah, she's one of the suspects, obviously, because you don't have to believe any researcher, you don't have to believe any source, you don't have to believe anybody. My main point is, if you compare that picture 1/18th of a second, and we know that the movie has been faked, so officially we cannot rely on any pictures, but let's assume that it is before the impact of the bullet. Now, you see how close that woman is to the victim called John F. Kennedy. I can't imagine, and this is my hypothesis, which I'm absolutely sure, I can't imagine why she did not mention from which direction the shot came if she would have been honest. If she is so close to him, and at the moment she's also touching his left arm, and she's approaching him and is just inches apart from him. Yeah, you can't tell me that she did not know if the shot came from the left side, right side, from the front, or from the rear, or whatsoever. And that is my main point. I said that can't be. Yeah. So either she's not telling the truth, or she has something to hide. But in any way, when we concentrate on the car being the altar, then the shot can only occur from the inside. So she has to know where the shot has come from. And also all the other participants in the car must know that, because that makes a sound. Even with the sound suppressor of a gun or rifle or whatsoever, you would say, you would localize, you would say that from which direction the shot occurred, right, Fred?
Right.
Yeah. So all the people inside the limousine are in the assassination. So this is 5 against 1 here, all against Mr. Kennedy. I have read her testimony against the Warren Commission, and she says that, oh yeah, it was a very hot day. Yeah, that's why she does not take her hat off. Okay, yeah, I have to believe that. And also she tells you that, oh yeah, that connection window between the driver and the passengers was open, wasn't it? So as if she was not sure, if she could not recall the entire incident. So that just when we said that the driver is very unlikely, that you would take some risk to put all the stress and the task to just the driver, which is from the hierarchy the most or the less important person in that lineup of 5 people here. Then there are some other clues to find out about the Kennedy assassination. And this is just a secular session, I know that, but we have to combine that with religion later on. And then you will see that why we have gone into this in detail. So let's go back to the script. So some people are accusing her of being involved in the assassination, and including me. including me. This is the elephant in the room, by the way, yeah, because everybody talks about assassinations, Grassy Knoll, Lyndon B. Johnson, the driver, and what else, yeah, but almost nobody is talking about the involvement of Jackie Kennedy. Yeah, and I had this idea some weeks ago. I said, okay, it's like the elephant in the room. Yeah, and I found a strange elephant which is nearly identical to the color of her. Yeah, and also we know what we have to think of about the Scarlet Woman, an apostate church. So let's look it up. Yeah, you see, this is just 1/18 of a second how close she is. It's absolutely unimaginable that she cannot tell from which direction the shot came. Yeah, absolutely. So that is it's a problem that which occurs here. Nobody speaks about. Yeah, it's a wonder that she was not hurt. Yeah, you have to believe that. Yeah. So you got a line of suspects. I know that is the comedy section here at the moment, but you have a line of suspects, and I think that Mrs. Jacqueline Kennedy is among them. Yeah. So in English, you have a saying, "Not to see the forest for the trees." Is that correct, Brett?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. So because we talked about the CIA involvement of Jackie Kennedy in the last session. And in this session, I stumbled across the fact that, of course, this is just only the official Wikipedia information that tells you that there are some mind control, and mind control is not MC, but MK, because officially people tell you, okay, it's coming from the German Nazis in the Second World War about mentale Kontrolle, which would be the German equivalent to mental control. So the mental control Naomi was the code name for the Joint Department of Defense. Yeah, welcome Internet. That's where officially the Internet has been derived from. Research program from the 1950s through the 1970s. So that would absolutely be spot on the same time that Jackie Kennedy allegedly worked for the CIA in 1950 in Paris. So they were having some research, special operations divisions, like a successor to MK Ultra on biological projects, including biological warfare and agents to store material that could either incapacitate or kill a test subject, or to develop devices for the diffusion of such materials. Yeah, welcome to the assassination of Mr. Kennedy. Yeah, and these goals should be resulted with an arsenal of lethal and incapacitating materials within the CIA's Technical Services Division, TSD. So that is like the James Bond Q services or Q division, huh? But in the so this is the official story. Yeah, if you would like to approach somebody internally in the CIA, I think they will tell you some quite another story. But this is just that we shall know that there were some research going on. Yeah, so both the CIA and the Special Operations Division, their modified gun to fire special darts coated with biological agents and poisonous pills. Yeah, that's what you think in a nutshell. That's also the explanation of William Cooper about his shellfish toxin. And when you then see it starts from 1950s on, then you know, okay, that's the way that, and also the time period that Jackie Kennedy officially had something to do with the CIA. And that's why I thought about, well, it's unthinkable for the regular people that the wife of the president could be involved in the assassination. But what if everybody here has a security clearance? Of course, this is Secret Service, this is Secret Service, this is governor, governor's wife, president, president's wife. They have got a clearance. So these people have secrets here, and these people are high-ranking officials. All four of them. Okay. So keep in mind that you're not speaking about an average housewife here. Yeah, either she's in the CIA, but nevertheless, she's best friends with Alan Dulles. And that should be sufficient to make her a little bit among the suspicious people. So Nixon then banned all the things. This is just that you have to believe that. I don't believe it. And also they tell here about the MK Naomi, about the shellfish toxin from Fort Detrick. Yeah, Fort Detrick, you know, yeah, with all the anthrax bacteria and all the things also in the later history of 2019 and so forth. So that would absolutely be spot on the division that William Cooper was speaking about. So maybe William Cooper received his information also from the SOC, CIA, or the technical division. So it has something to do with them. And speaking about modified guns, special darts coated with biological agents and poisonous pill, I came across that idea. And that is just quite a recent find I had on the internet about an official named Taylor Lee of the FDA who said that, well, we could blow darts of J&J. Yeah, I don't know if he was aware that he has been recorded or if that is not a setup, I don't know. Yeah, and then he said, I'm a little cynical. Yeah, but I mean, Johnson & Johnson, yeah, like go to the beep, 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 and blow it into them. Huh? And he also said about something about Nazi Germany registry for the people. Yeah, so not much has changed. That is biological warfare here. Yeah. Yeah, I just came across that there is also in Mark 13:12, this is in the King James Bible. Mark 13:12, you see, if the threat for the people is big enough, they will betray even their parents. That's been stated here in Mark 13, chapter 13, verse 12, Brett.
Yeah. Now the brother shall betray the brother to death, and the father the son, and children shall rise up against their parents and shall cause them to be put to death.
Yeah, you see all this depopulation thing, all this climate horror and war, and all the current situation is all against, of course, all the elderly people. And everybody will be counted to the elderly people. It's just a matter of time. And you see, they will worship the youth, yeah, because the youth is absolutely indoctrinated and totally unaware of the things happening behind the curtain. Yeah. So it's very interesting if you compare that with the Bible. Yeah, so you have to put fear into the people. Yeah, and also it says that we will be hated. Yeah, so any government will come up with the final conclusion that it's the fault of the real Christians, yeah, of the fundamentalists, so to speak. And there, I remember of some video in Georgetown University, I think it was about 15 years ago or so, from a former Marine who said that we have to get rid of the people. We have to eliminate them. And he meant us. That's why we are doing sessions to praise the Lord on Sabbath and to hand over some crucial information. At least I hope so. Yeah. So there's MK Naomi, according to a site I found on BitChute, which is called Space Busters, which I can generally recommend when it comes down to the medical information, but I can't recommend them when it comes down to history, because he's also promoting that Atlantis hawks. Yeah, that can come from the book of Ruth, and it's a day in the day when the judges ruled. And that is just about that Naomi wife, who was the wife of Elimelech. So maybe it comes from that, but they meaning Space Busters, are putting out the fact or the accusation that MK Naomi as a tool to depopularize the world. So I'm not going into that road because I'm just at the moment focused on Mr. Kennedy. Yeah, but it's a very interesting channel. Maybe you should look it up if you are concerned about the current theory, but beware of the historical so-called facts there. Okay, yeah. And sometimes it's just the other way around, because it's just very simple. Sometimes the medicine is the poison. Yeah, like in the case of a severe thing, which was been pointed out. But the problem is that the majority of people are just living in the matrix, so they don't comprehend. That it's just a matter of opinion and a matter of your personal view, because Stalin allegedly said 1 death is a tragedy, 1 million is a statistic. Remember your foreign minister, Madeleine Albright?
we have heard that 500,000 children have died. I mean, that's more children than died in Hiroshima. And you know, is the price worth it?
I think this is a very hard choice, but we think the price is worth it.
Yeah, who said that, okay, 500,000 dead children in Iraq, this is worth the price. Yeah, because she, yeah, it was not one of her children. Did she had any children? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that is the thing that history is repeating. This is the First World War. History is repeating. But the young lads, the young girls and boys, they don't know. History is repeating. It's always history repeating. Yeah? But the treatment is the poison and nothing else. Yeah, so that is just a trick. And it's just very interesting when you look to the Bible about the trick. Yeah, because this is Naomi, yeah, for your reference, it's the book of Ruth. Because they have so much biblical reference, be it Naomi or be it now this enzyme called luciferase. Yeah, you see, this is just a reference to Lucifer. To enlighten you, yeah. But if you compare that to the book of, or the Gospel of Luke in chapter 4, then you know that the dominion in this world has been handed over to Satan to test people. Now, this is absolutely clear in the verses Luke 4, 5 to 7.
Yeah, should I read those, Michael?
Mm-hmm. Please.
And the devil, taking him up into an high mountain, showed him all the kingdoms of the world in a moment of time. And the devil said unto him, all this power I will give thee, and the glory of them, for that is delivered unto me, and to whomsoever I will, I give it. If thou therefore will worship me, all shall be thine.
Yeah, thank you very much. We're quoting at the moment the Blaney version because it is much more easier to read, and we are not doing a Bible study here at the moment. So if we would do a Bible study, we would switch to the original King James Bible. But to just quote the Bible for the general content, I think it is fair enough to use that Blaney version. So Satan admitted that he's got the power of all the kingdoms in the world, and he will give that power and glory to whomsoever will worship Satan. So now you know what the most wealthy, influential people in this world are worshiping. Be it Mark Zuckerberg from Facebook, be it Bill Gates from the Gates Foundation, former Microsoft, be it Jeff Bezos, be it that Tesla guy, Elon Musk. Look at what kind of strange names he's got for his children. Yeah, it has nothing to do with transhumanism, huh? Right. Yeah. So we know it's everything tossed around. So 2 times minus is plus. Yeah. So -6 multiplied by -3 is +18. Yeah? So 666. Yeah, so that if you're living in a satanic world and somebody says, told you, oh, that you should not do this, then maybe it's positive, because you see that if you're living in a negative world and this negative world forbids something, maybe to praise God or to worship Sabbath or so, yeah, it's not astonishing. It's just logical. Yeah. Once again, look at all the things which are hidden for the general public, but you have to look, you have to search them. Yeah, since no quantified of the 2019 were available at the time the tests were developed. Yeah, so the truth is out there, but it's just hard to find. And it was never easy. It was never easy. Yeah. So it's all about religion. Even the current situation is about religion. It's about your belief. Yeah. What do you believe? Do you believe in an almighty God, or do you believe in that scientist? Do you believe in this infallible man? Yeah. Like, oh, there is somebody who claims to be infallible for almost 150 years now. You only need to believe to create fear. This is a tree of life. I'm not going into this. So, yeah. We are going back to our thing with the Kennedy assassination, coming back to Project Blue Bird, a mind control project. So it has something to do with controlling your thoughts, your mind, because it just depends on your opinion. It's about your belief, what your actions in life will proceed. If you believe in an almighty God, you like to help others. If you believe only just in a higher self and that you're able to do and to achieve anything, you might probably get some riches in this world, but that's just about it. Yeah, you won't help anybody else. So if somebody is absolutely filthy rich and then claims to be some kind of a savior to mankind with some medicine, I would be very cautious, and it's absolutely unlikely, according to Luke 4, that he's got something good on his mind, because otherwise he would not be that filthy rich. So look at this, please. This is a Project Blue Bird. It has something to do with mind control, to control the people. Started in 1950. Remember, Jacqueline Kennedy, then Jacqueline Bouvier, having a year in Paris with allegedly 3 months training from the CIA, and she was befriended with Alan Dulles. So 1950s, research on LSD, hypnosis, trauma-based mind control, etc. Located where? In Bethesda, Maryland Hospital, in the Walter Reed Army Hospital. And that is where the autopsy of the president was performed in 1963. What a coincidence, Brett.
Huh, that's interesting.
Yeah, and that autopsy also ended about the same time, but 12 hours later, 12:30 a.m. in the next morning. Yeah, so during midnight. Yeah, 12:30 has a special meaning when we come to the last part of the Kennedys thing about 12:30. Then you will see what's it all about. Yeah, the choice of the hospital was made by his widow Jacqueline Kennedy. Yeah, so she chose officially that hospital because President Kennedy had been a naval officer. You have to believe it. Do you know how far away Bethesda, Maryland is from Dallas? This is more than 1,000 miles. It is just not around the corner. And that was the hospital she has been chosen. And it's by accident the same hospital or the same complex, so to speak, where Project Blue Bird has started. Main location. And also in Japan, but main location, Bethesda, Maryland, the Walter Reed Army Hospital. Okay, some might say that, okay, oh, Michael, that's so far-fetched, that is just a coincidence, and what's it all about? I don't like your series. Yeah, you don't have to like them, then please watch some cat videos. But you see that this is just a mere coincidence here. That is the Bethesda Naval Hospital in Bethesda, Maryland. Yeah, you see, this is the Wikipedia entry here that has been covered here. The Walter Reed National Military Medical Center, formerly known as the National Naval Medical Center and colloquially referred as the Bethesda Naval Hospital. We're talking about the same complex here, people. What a coincidence. So let's proceed. Maybe there is something to it. Maybe also that would explain the strange actions of Mrs. Kennedy. Because in former times when there was no CIA, also the OSS agents were trained in Bethesda, Maryland, not in that particular hospital complex, but in the Congressional Country Club. So Bethesda, Maryland, or Maryland in general, shall be a paradise for Secret Service agents. And also that was the location where they transferred all the people through Operation Paperclip. So Werner von Braun, the rocket scientist, the responsible person for the so-called moon landing. What a coincidence. All happened there. So the blue bird symbolized, according to the website, all religion is one. I can recommend the website for your sources, from pictures and all the things, but they claim that also Christianity is just a solar religion. And so it is a clear distraction from the belief system to keep you all in this secular things. And I have apologized twice before that I'm going into a secular session. Now I won't do that the third time, just to tell you where this comes from. So that is a great site for research, but absolutely evil site when it comes down to the real Christianity, because you won't find any information there. But the blue bird symbolizes, according to them, the Egyptian god Horus. And the blue bird was also from the Belgian symbolist, from a Jesuit. And the blue bird, yeah, generally speaking, of happiness. So, many people are in these programs. So many people also who are nowadays been seen as just interesting people raising up some belief system, like Ron Hubbard here, Dianetics means also Scientology. These were actually Satanists, yeah, putting out satanic rituals. Now, so everything is connected here. Diane Spencer with the moonshot and allegedly moonshot, and Ron Hubbard calls his system of sensory measurement Dianetics, and Diane also is an FBI employee in Twin Peaks from Special Agent Dale Cooper, FBI. Yeah, so they are just nothing right in your face. David Lynch also laughs in your face because he's on an agenda too. But in these programs, these mind control programs, allegedly these victims are programmed in certain rituals to be spliced up or to be then transformed, so to speak, in a 3-year-old mindset as the core of the programming. So there's so-called a big brother who tells you what to do. So you know you need a signal or your code word, and then somebody changes his state. Yeah, like in that absolutely infamous movie I just once looked upon. That was some Britney Spears. I'm not a fan of Britney Spears, but she had a strange behavior here out of a sudden. Yeah, there was a video. A strange behavior switches out of that. Could be the case here. I can't prove it, of course. She can also be a very talented actress. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, but yeah, all these people are controlled, and many of these people are not clean, if you know what I mean. Okay, so let's get on. So these people work there together with so-called psychologists or with worse guys. So, for example, this guy, John C. Lilly, a friend of the professor of LSD, Timothy Leary, invented the sensory deprivation tank at the National Institute of Mental Health in Bethesda, Maryland, close to the Walter Reed Hospital except. So that is just a big complex. Yeah, so there are certain facilities here. One is for mental states, the other one is for current affairs, the next one is for the Secret Service, the next one is maybe for the officials or the general people. I don't know, and that is not my point. My point is that just it is a mere coincidence that the coffin of Kennedy was been flown over to that particular complex, and that particular complex is responsible for these mind control programs. So these float tanks is just a civilian department, so people to try out sensory deprivation. And there are some interesting guys like Carl Lewis, and don't think for just a moment that only his competitor Ben Johnson from Canada was the only one who was taking any illegal steroids, any drugs for his world record run. I could imagine that Carl Lewis has much experience on that, although he was been seen as the clean one. And he also was in that tank, in that sensory deprivation tank, to prepare himself for his gold medal, long jump, etc. These people are just doing everything to submit and to glorify the ego, because it's just an egoistic word, it's egoistic sports. And these people are just doing it to get better. There's just also Harry Potter star Emma Watson, Jeff Bridges, Yeah, he said that you can't see anything, your eyes are underwater, and it means that you are actually floating. There is a high amount of salt water in these tanks, and you're absolutely close to every senses. Yeah, so there is no light, no sound, no nothing, no wind. Yeah, so you're just absolutely alone in the darkness, and you're nude, and you're just floating in that salt water. Yeah. So what that means is actually, it sounds interesting. What that means is it's absolutely unnatural. It's unnatural. It's death, yeah, because there is no surrounding, no nature except the water. But it's not. There is nothing to it. There is no life, except the one who is floating. But to shut off for all your senses, yeah. You see, that is a very interesting state, of course, but that serves also the purpose that you're only concentrated on yourself. And he says, the mind is so active and it's constantly projecting like a movie screen. Yeah, I just happen to be curious what kind of television program he will receive, Brett. And there are many, many more people like this Joe Rogan character. Yeah. Who I find interesting. I know he's a good fighter, but yeah, there are some things. Okay, yeah. Look, Spacebusters, and you know what I mean. Okay, but John Lennon, for example, also he said he was totally satisfied with himself mentally and physically. So it's about me, 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 me. He told me I'm happy, I'm in the best shape I've ever been, and I feel it's about I. They are all egoists. No? They do what they will, shall be the whole of the law. Yeah, they're all just Satanists. They're all just doing it for themselves. They want to be pleased. They want to be satisfied. They want to do everything for themselves and not for other people. Many champions, I'm using them. Also, Peter Gabriel. Yeah, he once had a float tank in his home. Yeah. He said it was very interesting, like in a dream state, different thought and pictures to come through. And I tend to write a lot of times from pictures, and it is an area I'm very interested in. Yeah, that is Peter Gabriel. I don't know what kind of pictures he saw, maybe pictures of apes and owls, I don't know. But Peter Gabriel also submits that he's just an egoistic being. Yeah, look at this interview from 1986. He has said that Gabriel has become a confidant of psychotherapist R.D. Langs and a disciple of John Lilly's sensory deprivation tanks, where in the perfect darkness of saline solution-filled confines he can float naked and dream without boundaries. Yeah, I thought, okay, yeah, maybe like in Projekt Blue Bird, like a 3-year-old, right? Brett, if you consider perfect darkness and you would try to translate it to a being in the Bible, what would that be?
Ooh, well, I'd say darkness is equal to lawlessness. So that would be without the law, without God's law, you'd be in big trouble.
Yeah, but you see that who's the light, and then what is the opposition of light?
Ah, yeah, well, that's the one that fell from heaven.
Yeah. Yeah, but
with all his ilk, yeah, all the fallen angels. So big trouble, big trouble.
In John 8:12, Jesus says,
"Then spake Jesus again unto them, saying, I am the light of the world. He that followeth me shall not walk in darkness, but shall have the light of life."
Yeah, and now we switch to this text. Shall not walk in darkness. Yeah, so the perfect darkness must be Satan. When Jesus Christ is the light of the world, and so where the absence of light, there is the absence of Christ. And so it is a perfect darkness. And then you can be experiencing some visiting of evil spirits, evil thoughts, etc. Yeah? So, perfect darkness. Peter Gabriel also was a reader of psychologist Carl Gustav Jung, also had this thing with dreams, also was into alchemy and all the things. Jung was a Swiss psychiatrist working for the Secret Service Agency OSS, accused via that website. William Donovan, research on trauma-based mind control, like Sigmund Freud. Yeah, they all want to know how they can control people. So it's about power. Yeah. Remember the devil taking him up to a high mountain, showing him all the power and glory of the world. Yeah. So that is mind control. Worship. Mind control. Mind control means that you overrule the consciousness of a human being, and then that you are the absolute ruler of that being, meaning you are God for the one you are controlling, because you telling the people how to behave and what to do and how to act. And so don't be surprised when it just had everything to do with psychology and psychical research and Satanism. Yeah, to control people, to control the belief, to control the minds. And when you control the mind, you control the belief. Jung happened to work with the cousin of Hermann Göring from the Third Reich, leader of organized psychotherapy in Germany. Propaganda, programming of the unconsciousness. That sounds very intelligent, but actually, yeah, you see that the fear is that you can control people to be, for example, to be perfect assassins. And there is one prime example, and no, it's not John F. Kennedy. There is some other guy, which you will soon see. Yeah. So also on this Beatles album, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Heart Club Band, has much to do with drugs. There are Aleister Crowley, Aldous Huxley, yeah, all these people who have something to do also with drugs. Marlon Brando, Marilyn Monroe, Bob Dylan. Yeah, the Beatles were mind-controlled, and the Tavistock Institute, who had a statue of Sigmund Freud, I've looked that up, that is correct, and used to promote LSD and all that stuff. So to control the people. That's what every psychotherapist tries to do. Yeah, this is Jung, Psychology and Alchemy, Transformation, Red Book. And Mr. Gabriel says, I have a selfish lifestyle and a selfish word. Yeah, you see that when Jesus Christ is preaching 2 commandments, love thy neighbor as yourself. And when Mr. Gabriel says, I have a selfish lifestyle and a selfish word, Brett, can you tell me, am I exaggerating here when I say that you can also say that this sentence means I have a satanic lifestyle in a satanic world?
Yeah, that's a good way to analyze it. Yep.
Yeah, so that Peter Gabriel, very interesting, can be found in Bath. So in his bathroom, he's got a float tank, or he had. And maybe some of the ideas that came through, like pictures, he said that was music for the movie Against All Odds, walked through fire, which means sacrifice your children. Yeah, that means walk through fire. In the Bible, it is forbidden that you shall put your children through the fire. Yeah, I can look it up, but sometimes you have to rely on your own research. Yeah, darkness heavy on my shoulder, smell the smoke, the body's weak, the shadows strong. You see, this have absolutely to do with darkness, shadows. Yeah, look at our Peter Gabriel sessions. Yeah, walking in the path of angels, so it has something to do with the religion here. Yeah, that's always the same. They are promoting Satanism, and they get along with that. There is even a movie of that. It's called Altered States, and the main character is here Dr. Jessup. Yeah, so it's like Jesus with a P. Yeah, a little bit switch around from the letters here, but Altered States does not look healthy, huh? Looks like a hanged man here, like a character. Yeah, so that is just for the civilian, these float tanks, but of course they do much more on programming the people, the masses, with their Hollywood movies, especially also for movies for children, for Wizard of Oz, yeah, Over the Rainbow, used as a hypnotic trigger for dissociation, yeah, to split people up, to alter their minds, like in the case of maybe Britney Spears and all the like. yeah, this is all the things about Wizard of Oz. Yeah, Oz, the Wizard of Oz. Oz also can mean Oswald, and Oz is also abbreviation for Hello Deity Plaza, Osiris. Yeah. So also that character here, this Wizard of Oz, is coming from Theosophist Frank Baum, used as a manual for mind control. Yeah, could be. The Wizard of Oz is about getting on the yellow brick road. Yeah, and absolutely, that if you have followed that movie, Wizard of Oz, you know that it's all just a dream sequence of Dorothy. It is just happening in an altered state. So it's very interesting if you see that from that perspective. Yeah, the Wizard of Oz, yeah, could be that lion, dragon, or what else? Wizard of Oz by a Luciferian Theosophy Society. Sure. Yeah, Oz, no? Like Oswald. It's also very interesting because I have forgotten something. Etymology. Online. Yeah. Online, please. Yeah, one of my favorite websites. Yeah, and you look up the original meaning of Oswald. It means God power and God ruler. And Oscar, you know that Academy Award thing on Hollywood, means the spear of God. Now, where is Oscar here? Oscar. Yeah, it means God's spear. Yeah. What a coincidence. There are no coincidences.
Excuse me, Michael?
Brett?
Why would God need a spear?
Oh, these are just pagan things. You see that even...
Yeah,
even,
it's a pagan god. Thank you.
Yeah, you see that, for example, you know that famous Poseidon with his trident, huh?
That's it. Yep, that's exactly the image that came to my mind.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's God's spear. Yeah, you see that usually it's one spear, but you see that that is what also came into my mind. Yeah, that's the Neptune or Poseidon thing. Yeah, the ruler. Yes, it's like a staff. You see that underwater is like a staff. Yeah, that means that I have the staff. I'm ruling here. I'm putting out all the miracles. And for the Greek mythology, it's Zeus, and he's putting down lightnings to the world, and when he's angry,
kill as thou wilt. Yeah.
So all the CIA projects is not only CIA but military, of course. Trauma-based mind control. They want to control the people, especially from a young age. So there are many people who have been very altered states nowadays. The prime example I can think of is Miley Cyrus. Oh, that. Many children actually have looked at her when she was the innocent, nice Hannah Montana character. Yeah, that she was when she was very young, Hannah Montana. Yeah, of course. Yeah, but yeah, she was kind of innocent. Yeah, but later on, she became the absolute. Yeah, what else to say? Yeah, that's the altered state. Yeah, there is nothing nice here anymore. Wrecking ball. Yeah, you see, wrecking ball. When you think that the wrecking ball is positive, then I can't help you. Yeah, and yeah, so that's what they are doing with their children's stars. Yeah, you see that the fan boys and girls of Miley Cyrus, they are getting older as Miley Cyrus is getting older, and they have seen her as a role model, and then she suddenly switches. Oh yeah, now I'm puberty. I would like to show off. I would like to show my body and all the things. Yeah, so that just they are trying to promote and to indoctrinate the masses. Yeah, I don't think for a moment that Britney Spears or Miley Cyrus would step out of that program. Yeah, it is a program. Yeah, and so that Disney and all the stuff they had, all Disney's are Freemason 33 degree. They have all that children's stars there programmed. Wizard of Oz. Yeah, Oz like Osiris. Then she's also going on in another world. Yeah, to go back to Kansas, and so that's like going to the underworld, like Osiris. Yeah, to find the missing parts. And there's a sorcerer in the Wizard of Oz. Of course, that's a wizard. Yeah, that's a magician here. And she's like the fool in the tarot. Yeah, it's like in the Kabbalah. It's always the same. It's always the same. But as a child, you don't get that. You don't get that. The majority of adults don't get it. Yeah, that is just a projection screen here, and it's not pale green by coincidence. It's just sorcery. It's like a demon. It's like that being that allegedly Crowley saw, and which is the blueprint for the alien. Yeah, so it's all about mind control, and also not only to control the actors, but to control the public. Yeah, all these youth stars, then later on becoming big stars. Yeah, it's just all that they have then influenced so many people. Yeah, red shoes, ruby slippers. Yeah, Red Brick Road. Snow is also a symbol for cocaine, drugs. Hypnotize, ask Kate Bush, 50 words for snow, yeah, 50 words for drugs, 50 words for cocaine. Yeah, it all looks very stylish, but yeah. Yellow Brick Road. Curtains in the Wizard of Oz here. It's like Eminem. Yeah, you see here, this is a mirror image here. So this is a mirror, a split personality. That's what Eminem, the symbol, means, a split personality. Yeah, if you got a mirror here after the I, then, or after the N, except especially, yeah, then M in M means there is somebody in me. Yeah, me in me. That's my explanation of it. Yeah, so Red Shoes by Electric Light Orchestra, one of the occult, very under the radar, that band, Electric Light Orchestra, but they actually are Luciferians. I was one of the biggest ELO fans out there, and then I discovered ELO Twilight. I don't know if we have covered that in our series. It's either real or it's a dream. There's nothing that it's in between. So that has been altered states here. Twilight. I've gave you time to steal my mind away from me. Yeah, and Twilight, of course, it's dawn. It's like a code word for Lucifer. Yeah, and there is some pretext to that Twilight, which has not been mentioned here. No, it's also not been mentioned here. ELO. Prelude or prologue, yeah, prologue lyrics, yeah. This is with a computer voice. I don't know if you know that album from the Electric Light Orchestra, Time, which was very, very, very famous in Germany. Yeah, everybody had that when I was a youngster. Don't know if you know that album, Time. And there's a prologue, and yeah, that is just a greeting of somebody you might know when you are into the Bible. Yeah. Just on the border of your waking mind, there lies another time where darkness and light are one. Where darkness and light are one, which means when Satan and Jesus are one and the same, and this is a theosophy. When Helena Petrova Blavatsky says, yes, Lucifer is God, but Adonai is also God. Yeah. That is pure theosophy here in ELO.
Yeah, Michael, that's a promotion of double-mindedness.
Quite sure that is in
the Bible is specifically speaking against, you know.
Yeah, or here Albert Pike. Yeah, but I'm quite sure that also Helena Petrova Blavatsky said that. Yeah, so that is Albert Pike here, Freemason. Lucifer is God. Unfortunately, Adonai is also God. Maybe I've mixed it up, but I think it is in Isis Unveiled also from Helena Petrova Blavatsky. Yeah, Lucifer is God, and Adonai, speaking of, you know what I mean? Yeah, Adonai is not a name for the Christian God, the Father, but actually is also a name used for Jesus. But, and it's a big but, Adonai means Lord, used in place of Yahweh. Yeah, also in the person of his son Jesus Christ. So that it can have different meanings, but when darkness and light are one, yeah, you don't have to need to know much more. Yeah, where darkness and light are one. Yeah, that has something to do with the altered state here. Yeah, to go beyond halls of sanity, darkness and light is one, another time, border of your waking mind. Well, let's go back. You see, don't underestimate it. El Dorado has been used for Kenneth Anger, which was a high-ranking Satanist, for his movie Inauguration of the Pleasure Dome. Oh, yeah. Yeah, not by coincidence. And also the Muppets, of course. Wizard of Oz, it's also lovely to deceive all the people. Over the Rainbow has nothing to do with Moses and the Great Flood nowadays. Nowadays, it's a symbol for gender equality and for gay and lesbian LGBT. Yeah, Over the Rainbow now is the name of a show. And of course, it's the song of the famous song of Wizard of Oz, Somewhere Over the Rainbow, way up high. What does that have to do with Kennedy? Well, it's about programming of the mind. Inauguration of the Pleasure Dome, El Dorado edition, 1974, yeah. The Scarlet Woman. Kali means the Indian goddess of death. Yeah, so you can imagine what the equivalent in the Bible would be. Who's the father of death or the father of lies? And there's also a sacred mushroom edition or a sacred drug edition. Yeah, with the help of music. Yeah, and so this symbol of the bluebird is not by coincidence been mentioned together or been pictured together with Marilyn Monroe. MM also means 33. It's a code for 33, so meaning also the Mason. Project Blue Bird. And yeah, you see all the butterflies here, and that means that you're being programmed to become a butterfly. Yeah, someday I will fly. It's like Miley Cyrus. Huh? First she was a child, and later on she became a beautiful butterfly flying around naked on the stage. And you won't believe it, but I found a source, I don't know if that is reliable, found a source that even our Lee Harvey or Harvey Lee or Harvey Oswald or Lee Oswald was being seen in a so-called Bluebird Cafe before the assassination, of course. Yeah. Yeah, and so many things are happening in that army hospital have something to do with Project Bluebird. Yeah, so that there are many peoples you can't, only the Lord can see in their hearts. You can look into their face, but you won't tell if somebody is programmed unless she, like Britney Spears, is suddenly changing her tone, her voice, etc. Yeah, like Stranger in a Strange Land from Robert Heinlein. Title refers to the Bible, of course. Yeah, sometimes you are a stranger in a strange land. Yeah, because you don't know what kind of a persona you are, because yeah, people can break somebody's persona by, for example, in trauma-based psychology, trying to get back to your childhood and all the things. This is extremely dangerous. Harvey Oswald visited Bluebird Cafe. So Bluebird means the programming of then these MK Naomi. MK, mind control. Yeah, and Beach Boys, Bluebirds. And you have kind of a blue animal or what else in the Beatles, Yellow Submarine with Manu Cornuta, the Devil's Horns. Paul McCartney, Wings, Bluebird, Magical Mystery Tour. Yeah, you don't have to know anything else, but this is just drugs and sorcery, Magical Mystery Tour. Yeah, had nothing to do with what was the quote of John Lennon? We are bigger than Jesus. Yeah, and also on the Sesame Street they had a Bluebird Pino. Bob Hope, Order of Malta, Elizabeth Taylor, the one who had been talking on the set of Giants with James Dean, allegedly told James Dean that he was being misused by a Jesuit priest. Back to the Future also has a reference to Assembly of Christ. Said, wow, can't be a coincidence. And of course with the Bluebird Motel, yeah, just by coincidence. Very obvious. Yeah, so you program the people into believing, yeah, sometimes in the future you can have a time travel, you can have autonomous cars and like beams in the Star Trek and all the things. Yeah, and sometimes they reveal something else, that in the Back to the Future, it was supposed that there was a prophecy that Trump will be the next important president in the United States. I don't know, and I don't care. No, Blue Bird, everywhere around it. Frantic, Polanski also big Satanist. Oh yeah, Polanski, the husband of Sharon Tate, with the ritual of the alleged pregnant killing of his wife. Leonard Cohen, yeah, also in a family of Jewish preachers. River Phoenix, Bluebird Cafe, Harry Potter, of course, David Bowie, Lazarus. Yeah, so it is all mind control. And mind control does not happen exclusively in the United States, but it is very interesting that that mind control program was being located in this Bethesda Naval Hospital. Yeah. So if you really think that somebody would not be capable of doing anything, then please rethink. Maybe somebody has been programmed to do exactly something that a normal guy or girl or whatsoever else would never do. And that's my point. Yeah, into believing the unbelievable, to think the unthinkable. There is nothing like unthinkable. It's just, for example, Alice in Wonderland has been associated with pills or purple. Pink means dissociation. Yeah, and now please look at her dress of the Pink Panther. Pink is a code for being very young and being very childish and being girlish. That's pink. So that means that she's wearing a pink wardrobe. I know that she has worn that before. That's not the point. She is wearing that during the assassination of her husband. Yeah, so Alice in Wonderland means that somebody is going through a dream state, so to speak, because the entire, or almost the entire thing in Alice in Wonderland happens only in the dreams of Dorothy. I want to go back to Kansas. Nowadays, nobody wants to go back to Kansas, Brad. Yeah. And this is what all the people are for. Also, these alleged monarch, these butterflies, monarch children. You can't prove that, Project Monarch, but it is just, it's not the question who's in it. The question is who's not in it. Because there are so many things around, also in the movie cinematography in the Hollywood, etc. Yeah, you see that it's endless. Yeah? The history of mind control is not starting with Sigmund Freud. I bet that the history of mind control is in the ancient tribes of pagan priests, Brad.
Yep.
When they try to invoke spirits and to try to please God and to go into an altered state, being together with the spirits and all the things, and with the incense, yeah, what do you need incense for? Yeah, these are sacred rituals. This is what you call nowadays as higher magic. Yeah, so ceremonial magic. Yeah, to get in a special trance, hypnosis, etc. Yeah, this is not only limited to the 19th century. Come on. This is not correct here, in my humble opinion. Yeah? But of course, now you got more technology and you can improve all things. Yeah? So, Society for Psychic Research was Julian Huxley, the first president of the UNESCO, if I remember correctly. Pedophile Lewis Carroll, who wrote Alice in Wonderland. Yeah, Alice in Wonderland goes to the crazy hat maker, which is a magician. She goes to the underworld. Yeah, follow the white rabbit. Yeah, that means go to the underworld, go to the altered state. Yeah, William Wenson White, professor of mental diseases at Georgetown University of the Jesuits, etc. You see that all these people are working together. Insulin shock therapy, based on Egyptian Osiris, the Wizard of Oz. Yeah, Oswald, Egyptian Osiris would absolutely fit spot onto the Freemason on Didi Plaza. Belgium Jesuits. All these people are trying to indoctrinate all the public, and that's absolutely my point, spot on. Yeah, that's just the history timeline of trying to manipulate the people with science once again. Yeah, now in the psychology department. Walt Disney, Freemason. Yeah, Edward Bernays, Frankfurt School, Orson Welles, War of the Worlds, when then this Orson Welles character had a distinctive voice and he was coming through the radio because they had no television at the time, or majority of people didn't have anyone. So, and he convinces that audio play that the Martians were beginning an invasion. Many peoples were reported to step outside in threat of a Martian invasion. Yeah, so that is programming. That is programming. By not television, but by radio. This is programming. Yeah, so people believe that. It's just like the belief in a certain disease. Yeah, the belief in a certain disease. Yeah, War of the Worlds, and the people were terrified that the Martians will come. Yeah, radio fake scares nation. Yeah, what's that other than a program? And that's my point, absolutely. That's my point. So the color pink is accused to mean a trigger dissociation. Color pink, oh, there was something with the color pink here. Okay. Yeah, so back from Orson Welles, yeah, children being taught to go to the underworld, to go to the wonderworld, to go to Neverland, to what else, be Peter Pan. Yeah, to stay in a state of being a child, and so they can easily be programmed by politicians, scientists, leaders, military personnel. Yeah. MGM is accused to have released the Wizard of Oz as a manual to learn monarch children to go to a dissociative state, to go over the rainbow, to go to Wonderland, to the inner world. Sex, magic, and rituals involving sodomy at young age fractures the mind into a honeycomb structure of different fragments, that website allegedly says, after which multiple personalities, alters, can be inserted. Remember that movie called Altered States? Not even aware of each other's existence. Alter egos are programmed based on the Kabbalistic pattern of the Tree of Life, etc., etc. So then it's very interesting. Remember the Christopher Lee sessions, the Special Operative Executive, a branch of MI, Military Intelligence 6, so the foreign intelligence, led by Hugh Dalton of the Fabian Society. Fabian Society is something to do with the wolf in sheep's clothing, also something to do with the Depeche Mode band, if I remember correctly, creates a project of psychological research at desert places in Scotland. Inspiration also for the movie Shining with Jack Nicholson. Disney starts to make children movies with butterfly and all other symbolism. Then Laurel Canyon, Robert Heinlein has meetings with Ron Hubbard and Jack Parsons, meaning the both of the ritual of the Moonchild and Thelema, OTO division of America, and then later on Scientology. Aldous Huxley and Krishnamurti meet, etc. Parsons leads the OTO. Parsons then also JPL. They got rid of him because of all his strange lifestyle, so to speak. And yeah, Jack Parsons then was being blown up, so to speak, or blew up. William Donovan, OSS CIA, led the newly founded OSS, gathered the team, etc. of actors, journalists, Carl Jung, etc. Donovan was a member of the Saturn Club, so means Satan, with Mr. Goodyear of Paramount Pictures. They experiment on prisoners to create a true serum, also at a hospital, so officially, of course. Conducting experiments on rats to see if skill in maze solving could be passed on to offspring, etc. Sociality, cybernetics. Then Lorette Bender uses electroshock therapy on children labeled as schizophrenic patients as Bellevue Mental Hospital in Manhattan, New York. So these hospitals are absolutely dangerous. So officially they do this, but unofficially they do something else. It's called Secret Service, not by coincidence. Yeah, Tavistock Group did also the controlling of the United Kingdom, several groups of them, Operation Paperclip, then now the transfer of Nazi scientists to Fort Riddick, we know, biological warfare with the use of darts and special things, overseen by Knights of Malta, of course, Alan Dulles, of course, because Alan Dulles was the chief of the CIA. So Alan Dulles, Brett, was the chief of MK Naomi Mind Control Program. And guess who was a good friend of Mr. Alan Dulles?
Go ahead.
And also the CIA. Yeah, Jacqueline Kennedy.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, and then you got the connection between MK Naomi, Mind Control, CIA, Alan Dulles, and Jacqueline Kennedy. Already. Yeah. Then you got all the scientists coming from Germany. And also some biologist called Erich Traub, and this is his gravestone, a tombstone. Yeah, you don't have to guess what kind of religion that could be. Oh my! He worked also for the Army Biological Labs in Frederick, Maryland. Yeah, oh, this Maryland must be a very interesting place.
Oh yeah, going back to Osiris, aren't we today?
Yeah. Oh, it's like
back to the basics. Yeah.
Back to Didi Plaza. Yeah.
And who was it that made this comment that we're supposed to tell everyone about Babylon, you know, in these series? Who was that out there? Someone that I permanently banned from my channel.
Listen, it's very interesting when you read between the lines, because I have translated it into German and I have to retranslate it into English, but it's just 2 sentences. It's that biological weapon engineer Karl Blome, okay? Yeah, it's a German guy. Yeah, also was participating in a plan to kill 35,000 Polish guys who were being ill from tuberculosis by gassing. Yeah. And then on the 13th of April 1943, in the Second World War, he was the official for the research of cancer. But according to a man called Ernst Klee, this was just a hiding term for bioweapons. And I said, that is very interesting, because now imagine we were living in a satanic world and somebody comes to you and says, okay, I'm responsible for cancer research. Yeah, so that usually you would think, Brad, okay, yeah, oh yeah, he's great, but he's looking for a medicine to cure cancer. But that is not what that term means.
No, it's not what it means.
It's not what it means. It means that you research how you can maybe create cancer.
How you can keep the elephant in the room alive.
Yeah.
And promote cancer.
Yeah.
That's what it means.
Yeah, you do some ingredients in your Coke. Yeah, you see that, oh, it's without sugar. If that maybe is with something else, which is highly toxic or is highly affiliated with cancer, you don't tell them.
Yeah, look.
But it's without sugar.
Michael and I already addressed this months ago when we told everyone we have to speak in a kind of code here on YouTube, because we're not allowed to speak openly on this anymore, on this network anymore.
It's called democracy.
Yeah, right. Democritus. Yeah, you remember Democritus? Yeah. So as long as you are aware of the circumstance that we're in, and if you're not, Lord help you. Lord help you. You need help. You need real help, because there's a lot of people that are vastly asleep. This is true, but the thing of it is that we are more or less still slaves, aren't we, Michael? In a sense, in this world, in this life, we're still held in this kind of Babylonian captivity. Still,
I've translated that in the meantime. It means that Mr. Blume became plenipotentiary, I don't know, for cancer research, which according to Ernst Kleer was a cover word for bioweapons, as well as a member of the lightning arrestor working group, which in plain language was intended to prepare for biological warfare. Blume, that's the name of the guy, was thus head of the Central Institute for Cancer Research in Nesselstedt near Posen, that is in East Europe, and a member of the Nighting Research Working Group. The following research projects were coordinated by Blume. In 1949, Traube fled with his family from the eastern sector of Berlin to West Berlin, and soon after received a position with the paperclip program and later an invitation to Fort Detrick, where the army had its biological warfare headquarters. He then worked at Plum Island, where he conducted research on biological weapons and worked with more than 40 lethal germs until the 1950s. His assistant at Plum Island was Anna Bürger. Traube's other places of employment in the United States included the Naval Medical Research Institute in Bethesda, Maryland, as well as the United States Department of Agricultural Research Laboratories, also Maryland, and the Armed Forces Institute of Pathology in Washington. Among other things, the activities at Plum Island are blamed for the spread of Lyme disease. Pooh.
That's a load.
Oh, but there is some more things to say. Look at this. I would not like to spare out anything. Traube later continued to work in various countries and eventually returned to Germany. He became president of the Federal Research Institute for Viral Diseases of Animals in Tübingen. Under Traube, Eugen Hagen, who had been involved in medical experiments on prisoners at the Natzweiler concentration camp, obtained employment there. Traube was a honorary professor at the University of Tübingen from 1956. Yeah, so no problem. That's a word, huh? That's a word outside. Yeah, so yeah. These people are using everything to their advantage. Everything. Everything. And I mean everything. Yeah? It's no difference. Yeah? So it's just another name. If you are Nazi or if you are just an American spy, it's just another name. It's not a uniform like Reinhard Gehlen. Yeah? You switch on this uniform, you dress in that uniform, your OSS turns into the CIA. Yeah, but it's absolutely the same. Yeah. The Lookout Mountain Air Force Base of Laurel Canyon operates as a movie studio. Yeah, maybe that Zapruder movie has been modified there, or other movies. And they closed in 1969. What happened in 1969? Let me guess.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I remember.
Yeah, and that's so many projects also in that Walter Reed National Medical Center. Yeah, under the Nazi. Yeah, yeah. Continuation of the Nazi experiments in Dachau with mescaline. That's a drug. Yeah, this is not to cure people here. This is just medical research. So it seems. Or not only, at least. Yeah, Tavistock director is made president of the World Federation of Mental Health under the control of the, whosoever. Huh? National Institute of Mental Health is formed in Bethesda, Maryland. Yeah, in 1950, CIA director Roscoe Hillenkoetter approves Project Blue Bird, led by Morse Allen, and later on been followed by Alan Dulles, of course. They do tests and research. You don't have to believe me, don't believe me. Let's look it up. When Alan Dulles was a CIA director, I really want to know that. Alan Dulles, when are you the CIA, the first civilian director of intelligence? I'm only interested in the CIA. Don't come with all the things. I'm interested in CIA. CIA, come on. Dulles met with Hitler in Berlin. Yup. He has a brother Foster. Yup. Future director, crew, CIA career. CIA recruited Dulles to oversee. Yeah, a deputy director for plans from 1951. Yeah, January 1951. When was Jacqueline Kennedy in 1950? She was in Paris, if I remember correctly. So in 1951, he was already promoted Deputy Director of Central Intelligence, second in the intelligence hierarchy. And in 53, was 5 members of the state, etc. After the election in 1952, Dulles became the first civilian director of intelligence. So that was 1 year before the marriage of Jacqueline Kennedy, or Jacqueline Bouvier, together with John F. Kennedy. And Dulles was the best friend with her stepfather. And he was then in 1952 officially overseen MK Naomi or MK Blue Bird. If that is not interesting, I don't know what is. So Bluebirds, Horus, Harpocrates, yeah, that's the god of silence, by the way. So secret, don't tell anybody. So the finger for the mouth is not only in front of the mouth is not only for limited to Freemasonry. No. They do tests and research on hypnotic triggers, amnesia, and multiple personality disorder with veterans of the Korean War. So it is military, yeah. At the Walter Reed Hospital in Bethesda. So yeah, it's the same where Kennedy's corpse were then been, so to speak, autopsy. Yeah. Ron Hubbard. Yeah. So then Project Bluebirds turns into Project Artichoke with also electroconvulsive therapy, electroshocks to turn patients into a vegetable state. Yeah, this is all in the name of research. Disney releases full movie Alice in Wonderland as mind control manual with butterfly symbolism. Yeah, so this is in fiction, and this is then Lady Gaga. And not only her. Yeah, this Rihanna with black butterflies. And when I did the session of the satanic music, I incorporated Grace Jones, and she has also a kind of butterfly ear image and the slave to the rhythm. Yeah, she describes herself as a slave to the rhythm. Yeah, what else is it that control? That something is controlling her. And the master of rhythm, by the way, is Satan, because he was the first, or Lucifer, he was the first musician. Yeah. So then 1953, another name approach, Project MK Ultra, a copy of Bluebird and Artichoke drug and hypnosis research, creating amnesia through electroshock hypnotic triggers like telephone calls. Yeah, it's like the year 2022, Soylent Green, huh? People want to survive, and they will do everything for their survival. They even will eat up their neighbor. So don't Jesus says, love your neighbor as yourself. The other people will say that, okay, if you have to survive, then you have to maybe eat your neighbor. I'm not kidding at the moment. I'm absolutely not kidding. I think we are approaching extremely interesting times, so say the least. So these are all mind control people like Marilyn Monroe, which is also more the reference to the President Monroe, and Marilyn Monroe MM, yeah, means 33, yeah, because if you have an M, yeah, then you look at, I can't switch it now 30 to the on the side, yeah, but it just looks from the side like a 3, so MM also can be an abbreviation for 33. So then there you go, of course, the favorite or unfavorite Freemasons.
Yeah, you turn it counterclockwise. So
counterclockwise, yeah. No, clockwise actually, not counterclockwise, clockwise.
Well, no, I mean you turn 33 counterclockwise.
Ah, I see. Okay.
And awesome. Then you have MM.
Yeah. Okay.
It's the other way around. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. Yeah. So then. Harry Bailey, as the World Health Organization representative, observes the electroshock therapy in Canada, and Aldous Huxley published a dorsal perception about his mescaline experience. Weren't we talking about mescaline when it comes down to the Nazis concentration camp in Dachau? What a world, huh? Aldous Huxley. He has got a novel called Brave New World. So you know that how the Brave New World looks like with pills. Also Soma, it is called. Yeah, I don't know. You know that Brave New World?
Yep.
Brave New World. Yeah, they are using a drug called Soma. Yeah, to keep the people happy. I don't ask anything. Yeah, it's called SOMA. If I comment. Yeah, the drug happiness producing drug called Soma. My. What a world. Yeah, and these people are all in power. Yeah, his brother is the president of the UNESCO, United Nations Education, Science and Cultural Organization. So what kind of an education and culture you mean they put in the minds of the children?
Very toxic one, Michael.
Very toxic. The Doors of Perception, yeah? The Doors of Perception is also subtitle Himmel und Hölle, which means heaven and hell, yeah? Experiences with drugs, it's from Aldous Huxley. You see that as above, so below, huh?
Mm.
Yeah, the doors of perception. If the doors of perception were cleansed, everything would appear to man as it is, infinite, for man has closed himself up till he sees all things through narrow things, chinks of his cover. That's come from William Blake, and he's not a Christian, I can tell. We have talked about that in the Phil Collins session. That is, of course, the Doors' Jim Garrison, who was not only the only one, who was the family member or a child of a naval or military official. So then it comes down to the deprivation tank, also in the Bethesda, Maryland hospital. Yeah, people. Magic mushrooms are promoted in Life magazine. That is the same magazine, which then has promoted that mushroom here on the front page, and then later on published then or promoted then the low nut Lee Harvey Oswald. Remember, he went to the Blue Bird Hotel, yeah, and that was the magazine of Sovereign Military Order of Malta, Henry Luce, and his wife being a Sovereign Dame of Malta, or Dame of Malta. Yeah, oh my. Yeah, it goes on and on. Yeah, so the CIA trains children of military families in Laurel Canyon and at Lookout Mountain to become pop stars and icons of the music industry and the fake sexual liberation movement. Yeah, with the Elektra Records, the Greek goddess Elektra with the butterfly logo. Yeah, you see that is Elektra Records. Yeah, the butterfly logo. Paul Rothschild has his house there and produced the Doors for Elektra Records. What a coincidence. And LSD, Roman Polanski, John Lennon, Beatles, thousands of, literally many people, especially also Grateful Dead. What a name for a band, Grateful Dead. Yeah, CIA, Frank Zappa, Beach Boys.
You know, Michael, could it be more obvious?
Yeah.
Could it be more obvious? I mean, it's so in your face.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember, you see, I got a cousin who is 8 years older than me, and I used to admire him a bit because he had a really cool basement and a big tape machine and big speakers and very sophisticated. Even had a, I think it was Tandberg speakers. Yeah, it's really exclusive things. And he had a skeleton, a poster of a skeleton from Grateful Dead in his basement. And I was a little bit scared when I was at the age of 10 or so.
I bet.
But he has a, I can't see that, but he had a 6 feet skeleton depicted in his basement. Yeah, Grateful Dead. My. Yeah, also Black and Blue, huh? So maybe also Freemason, huh? Who knows? So Columbia, Beach Boy, Bob Dylan, etc. And now slowly we are coming back to finally Kennedy. The John Frankenheimer movie, The Manchurian Candidate, means MC, means mind control, with Knight of Malta, Frank Sinatra. Remember, he made the official hymn for the campaign of Kennedy 1960 called High Hopes. And Mr. Frank Sinatra also played in that strange movie called A Hole in the Head. What a coincidence. About a mind control assassin that shoots the president as predictive programming of the JFK ritual. A mind control assassin that shoots the president. That happened when? That's the picture about that. That's the poster. Frank Sinatra, General D, the Manchurian Candidate. Yeah, that happened in USA on the 24th of October 1962. But in the end of 1963, they have stopped the sessions. Yeah, there were some rumors that it has been thrown out of the cinemas during the assassination to John F. Kennedy, and Frank Sinatra did not want to continue. Yeah, so very strange, very strange.
This is a bit of a load for those of us here in the States. My grandparents really loved Frank Sinatra, I'm telling you.
Mm-hmm.
So when Michael says Knight of Malta, Frank Sinatra, I'm sitting here going, what?
You see that Sinatra had many ties to the mafia. He was not original American-born guy.
Mafioso.
Yeah, sure. That's everybody knows that, and everybody knows also that the Kennedys had tied to the organized crime. Yeah, the mob helped him in many counties to get votes.
I see.
Yeah, so they were so upset when his brother then Robert Kennedy was made Attorney General then, and he was going against the mob then out of a sudden after the election. Yeah, because there were many people who were hating Kennedy.
Right.
Yeah, because he was playing on his own. Yeah, setting up his own rules. Yeah, but there's mind-controlled assassin that shoots the president 1 year before. You see, there are so many indications when you get into the things that there's so many premonitions, yeah, so to speak, a hole in the head. Yeah, you see that. How obvious must it be? A hole in the head. You think, of course, of Kennedy. Yeah, not Sugar Babes. Come on, A Hole in the Head is a so-called comedy movie of 1959. You know, the election was in the campaign was in 1960, and this is once again Frank Capra here with Frank Sinatra. And Frank Sinatra was the one who had then made in 1960 the campaign song Sinatra High Hopes. Yeah, that was for Kennedy. Yeah, JFK. Campaign song. The same Frank Sinatra who was then making the movie in 1959, A Hole in the Head. Yeah, but it's just a mere coincidence, huh? That is just a mere coincidence, everything. The whole world is just a beautiful paradise. Only for the people who are into drugs, I think. So that is a mind control assassin that shoots the president, a Manchurian candidate. And that's not all. It just released 1 year before the assassination took a kickstart. And then in the end of 1963, of course, the sessions were, maybe that movie was too obvious. Huh? So, of course, that would also rely at the moment to Lee Harvey Oswald, that he was a programmed assassin. But we know that Lee Harvey Oswald did not shoot. Yeah. So who is the mind control assassin that shoots the president? Well, I got another idea, and it's not that obvious in the first place. Because there is some other guy which called Robert F. Kennedy, and he was been shot by Sirhan. And I had a strange interview 10 years ago, almost to the date, with somebody who is very deep into that case. And he says that, yes, from a medical standpoint, he says that, yes, that was an experiment which turned out to be more successful than they initially thought. So somebody I met told me that Sirhan was somebody who was being programmed. Yeah. Also, if we will go into Sirhan quite soon, and yeah, he did not shoot the president, but he shot Robert F. Kennedy, or allegedly he shot Robert F. Kennedy, and he was a very promising candidate for the next presidency, so to speak. But let's go back to the script. There are so many people who have been programmed or setting up by the industry. For example, the Beatles, produced by the Jesuit George Martin. Yeah, so it's not only them. They are promoting Freemason and free love and all the things. But according to the book of Mark Levinson, Tune In, that Jesuit George Martin said that he went to a Jesuitical college. And of course, that is just a big thing of the Beatles here, promoting drugs, promoting free love and all the things. Yeah, they also have that altered state. Yeah, if you combine the Beatles from 1962 to 1970 with all their long hair and all the Maharishi Mahesh Yogi stuff and all that, yeah, Yoko Ono sit in, nude in, and what all. Yeah, so they started out as a regular boy band and hello, love me do, and then came with magical mystery and all the stuff. Yeah, so that is just almost the same that happened to Miley Cyrus. Yeah, so that is all orchestrated. And also there was a CIA agent called Timothy Leary. Yeah. Yeah, they all promote this hypnosis together with drugs. Then, not the only one, because drugs are very common in ceremonial magic, yeah. So high magic, yeah. Diary of a drug fiend, Aleister Crowley. Yeah. CIA's agent like Yoko Ono, who says that, yes, I'm a witch. And I know there was somebody who said that, oh, no, I don't want to have anything to do with Yoko Ono because she's a witch. I've forgotten who it is, but I have to look up my notes because I'm clearly, I don't know, Jahreszahlen. Huh? Where is that? You know my word chronologic of all the years. Where is that? Oh, I don't know. Where is that? On the other computer? Ah, but does not matter now. She says that I think that all women are witches, in the sense that the witch is a magical being and a wizard, which is a male version of a witch. Yeah, the Wizard of Oz, and she is the Witch of Oz, huh? We should appreciate our magical power. Yeah, sure. Of course, she is a role model for everybody who wants to be pictured naked and to marry or to be together with a world famous icon like John Lennon. Yeah, LSD has been supplied by Osley Stanley from, he was a sound editor, if I remember correctly, from Grateful Dead, who was a voluntary patient at St. Elizabeth Hospital, and worked for JPL of Jack Parsons, and so forth, and so forth, and so forth, and so forth. All these people, they don't get problems like Jimmy Savile, sexual scandal, more than 400 people, including corpses in hospital he misused. He was best friends with Prince Charles, actually, of England. Yeah, these are all these important people. Remember Luke 4. Yeah, you have to worship Satan to become an idol or to become famous in this world. Jimmy Savile, who was being a Knight of Gregory. Yeah, so that is just, you don't get sued when you are a Knight of Gregory. Yeah, this is real immunity. Yeah, so welcome back to the Birds, Projekt Blue Bird, Beach Boys, etc. Swinging London scenes, all set up. This is all just programming the youth. Long hair for men. You see that it's just start of transgender maybe somewhere. Swinging London scene. Yeah, it's all the same people. You see that. You see here Yoko Ono, who says, yes, I'm a witch. You see here John Lennon, who says the Beatles are bigger than Jesus. Everybody will remember the Beatles when Jesus Christ or Christianity is long forgotten. And you see here the professor of LSD, who then had to fled to Switzerland, who even supplied LSD to his children when it was legally and all the stuff. And he was promoting hypnosis and LSD, etc. And you see that pose. Yeah, these are your role models in a satanic world without any words. Yeah, this is just scum. This is your satanic world. This is Luke 4:4 depicted here. Yeah, you get an icon, you get rewarded, you will have power, you will have money. If you follow the satanic doctrine, do what thou wilt, it shall be the whole of the law. Yeah, humans be in, LSD and all the things. So you see that the drug agenda has much to do with psychology. Yeah, the Jesuit Vernon Waters was director of the CIA. Yeah, not only him. Not only him. Carter, 33-degree Freemason. And soon we will approach now Kennedy. Doctors who participated in Projekt Blue Bird and MK Ultra participate in a media ritual with lawyers, Allen, etc., exercising mind control on the audience who do not realize they're part of a mind-controlled cult themselves by watching and believing the so-called news. That's the absolute spot-on situation in 2022. Yeah, people sitting in front of the television and they don't get it that they're being programmed. MK Ultra. And if something is released in a controlled press, it's ought to be released. Yeah, so it has nothing to do with free press. The concept of mind control by evil scientists in a secret government project is brought into the public consciousness so it can be normalized in countless Hollywood movies. Clockwork Orange. Orange means 33. Freemason once again. Stanley Kubrick. One of the most disgusting films I've ever seen.
Yeah, I agree with that statement wholeheartedly. Thank you very much, Michael.
The only good thing about that movie is that car. That's the only one. That's the only thing.
That's the car? What car?
They had a special kid car.
Oh. I'll tell you what, that movie repulsed me so bad that I just walked away. I walked away.
Yeah, that is just
I
all
never
the
went
music
back
and all that stuff.
to watch the rest. Whatever. I could care less.
Yeah, that was that strange car.
Okay.
Probe
I don't
60.
think I even remember seeing anything like that. Orange, of course.
Yeah, Clockwork Orange. What do we expect?
Of course.
Yeah, so they use very young children to program them. Drew Barrymore, Altered States, if I told you. Disney trains pop stars like Michael Jackson. Yeah. Orson Welles' Butterfly. Allegedly, Project Monarch is a distraction. There's no proof, but you see all the pictures. Yeah. The Silence of the Lamb. It's don't tell anything because it's a secret society and secret service.
Oh yeah, there's another disgusting movie.
Yeah, this is Miley Cyrus with one of her personalities.
Seriously.
I can't help it. It's just a part of that website here. These are all controlled people because otherwise they won't have made it to the top.
That is disgusting.
Yeah, it's all disgusting. You see that everything is promoted nowadays, which is disgusting. Yeah, but if somebody is interested in, then we have to freeze that picture here for 20 seconds so that everybody can read about the big mind circus, brainwashing the entire world with trauma-based mind control, forcing slaves to live in a bubble, injecting technology to be reborn, etc.
Good point.
Yeah. It's just programming. Everybody, they want to program the people by the television. It is so obvious.
And there's the goal: eliminate all critical thinking.
Yeah, because you can't allow yourself to have an individual opinion. Yeah, because then it is a big science. So the experts are coming. Yeah, let them come. Yeah, it's not about facts. It's just about belief. False information to cause confusion and more fear. Yeah. So, when Neil Armstrong, who never was on the moon, said those who can remove one of truth's protective layers, then we have to remove these protective layers from the Zapruder movie, maybe. Because you can look at the movie when you know that it's not a movie, but a collection of single frames, and to have some different opinion about it. So we have to remove them. I find it very interesting now to get in a discussion with Brett very soon about natural behavior of people. Yeah, because we have our own intellect given by God. Yeah, so let's look at that from that perspective. You know that they are fooling us with, for example, that Pink Panther, that Alice in Wonderland programming. Maybe Mrs. Kennedy was being programmed. So it's just a hint. When I go into some of the Inspector Clouseau movies, that was very interesting. I did that last week, and there is some screenshot here when that inspector said, "Nothing matters but the facts." And our usual situation out there is nothing else matters than belief, so the facts don't matter anymore.
It's all what your faith is, yeah.
Yeah, but it's all doctrine and belief, and
that's right.
Yeah, but if you really think about that logical, we will step to Mrs. Kennedy now very soon, and maybe there is something to it, because I was very blown away when I looked at the next picture with the next subtitle. Look at this. We know that Kennedy was shot within the limousine. You can at least assume that with a high level of probability. But when we know that Mr. Lee Harvey Oswald was first being described with a Mauser, which is a German rifle, pre-war, and then they switch it around to an Italian rifle like a Manicha Cancano, he had to shoot the president with an Italian rifle to have a connection to Italy and especially to Rome. And then when that movie here of Inspector Clouseau says the bullets were fired at close range with a .25 caliber Beretta automatic, I said, wow, that is interesting. This is just a hint. That is no proof, of course. These are things to line up now. The Beretta 950, which is very interesting because now if you add 9 and 5 together, you get 14. And 14 is the height of feet of the Elm Street. And 14 is the number of segments of the Osiris obelisk at the Dizzy Plaza. And Beretta, of course, is an Italian manufacturer.
It all adds up, doesn't it, Michael?
It is just a bunch of coincidences at the moment, huh?
Mm.
That's what I told you. We will soon approach Mrs. Kennedy from another angle, because we don't have to use the ballistics. We have to use our common sense. Yeah, because the CIA or anybody else, they can manufacture and modify any bullet or special bullets. Of course, yeah, bullets were exploding, etc. Yeah, that is no problem. But compare that with the Italian carbine, 6 + 5 means 11. I was told by a commentator that 6.5 caliber is very rarely used in America. And 6.5 means 11 means Freemason, and Italian carbine means you have the connection to Italy, means Rome, of course. Yeah? So that was allegedly the weapon that Harvey Oswald shot, but never shot, because there was found no dust, no particles on his face. So he could not have been shooting anything on that day, at least. Okay, so Manicha Cancano. Yeah, so let's put it everything around so that the chauffeur maybe did not kill Kennedy only or at all, but somebody else. And this is here Maria Gambrelli. I said, okay, Maria, interesting. Huh? Yeah, so the Pink Panther is about a diamond, and it's just about the Ezekiel 28 when it is about these precious stone with the diamond here. So don't have to read it, Brett, just for the audience to remember here. The diamond has been one of the precious stones that the first musician who was ordained to praise God, but then was the cherub that covered, who then was later been tossed out of the garden. And also in that movie of that Pink Panther, they meet together in the Italian winter sport location called Cortina d'Ampezzo. So also that location is in Italy, to make it worse. It's very interesting, huh? Things are lining up. Yeah, it's and that official title is A Shot in the Dark. Yeah, and isn't that also a shot in the dark here? That nobody knows where the bullet is, from which weapon it had been fired, who fired the weapon, from which position the weapon was fired. Yeah, it's also a shot in the dark here. Yeah, so I think that we are through about our Blue Bird project, but remember that there are people who are trying to fool you. One of them, I think, is called Ole Dammegard. Ole Dammegard made the contribution in the JFK and 9/11 conspiracy and cancer killing machine. Of course, he's speaking about Dr. Mary's monkey, this New Orleans laboratory. Yeah, he says, she, speaking of Jacqueline Kennedy, was devoted to her husband, as we all know. Okay, but then comes the big one. He says, it's a miracle that she wasn't taken out. And I think that is absolutely untrue. That's my comment to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, when we know that there is no proof that somebody shot from the outside to the limousine, Yeah, apart from these distractions like the windshield hole and all the things which can also be manufactured, then we know that is the probability that it occurred inside the limousine means that she was not in big danger, most likely. So,
oh, she was on a mission then.
She was on a mission then, so it was not a miracle. And this sorcerer here in Asterix and Obelix, if you remember, that Freemason was officially coming from the French Revolution and liberty, égalité, and all the things, liberty, equality, and all the stuff. When we talk about the Eiffel Tower in Paris, yeah, this is the official sorcerer from Asterix and Obelix called Miraculix. Yeah, so from miracle, it's a miracle that she wasn't taken out. And no, you don't need any magic portion, yeah, to conclude that it was not a miracle. Because when that happened inside the limousine, then the probability that somebody was hurt who was not ought to have been hurt is very low. So these are 5 people in limousines, which means that anybody who had made any action in that limousine, yeah, must have had 4 other witnesses. So it is, if he turned around and he had a gun, which was been said with by several witnesses, and several witnesses also said there was a kind of noise in the car coming from the car. It was inside the car. Then he must know, he must know, she must know, and she must know. If some bystander recognizes a gun in the hands of the driver, then she must know. And she didn't tell anything. Yeah, she does not tell anything about the gun in the hands of William Greer. So therefore, that she is an absolute suspect in the case. So that means it's 5-1. It's 6 minus 1 Kennedy. All 5 are in one mission here. These are actors. Yeah, Connolly is an actor, also best friend with Lyndon B. Johnson. Yeah, you really think that Lyndon B. Johnson would risk the death of his friend, his governor of Texas, by letting somebody shoot on the limousine? I think that's not very likely, Brett.
No, it's not.
Yeah. So then ask yourself, this is one of the last pictures. Look at the mood of the participants in the limousine. How would you describe that?
Pretty focused.
Yeah, and now compare that here. Yeah, she's smiling, he's waving, she's most likely smiling. These are concentrated, he's smiling, Kennedy is smiling, and the only one who's smiling here in the picture is JFK.
Right.
But not for very long. Yeah, so she's not smiling, she's not waving anymore. He's not smiling, he's looking to his wife. And she's looking to the camera as if she does not want to be pictured. Okay, so everybody, you can assume, I think it is very probably that you can assume that they are focused for the things to come. Because Kennedy will be dead in less than 10 seconds now. That's my assumption. Convince me otherwise, but they were on a campaign in Dallas and the people are greeting and waving, but no one in the car, except Mr. Kennedy, has a good time anymore. And that is something you can't fake that easily. So this is just common sense. What I said to you, you don't have to look at the Zapruder movie or to something else. You just have to use your common sense. This is a picture from Bob Croft. Yeah. And you see that he's smiling, laughing, having a bunch of roses here. And interesting enough that in the Harry Potter movie, the teacher who is teaching the defense against the dark arts, yeah, has a similar dress to her. Yeah, and she's pink. She's with a pink hat on. Yeah, so it's like Alice in Wonderland programming. And that bunch of roses who has been handed over by the mayor of Dallas, you know that the rose has nothing to do with love. Not in a Christian way. Yeah. Not in a Christian way. So you have to keep the secrets. And that's also one of the secrets here. The rose, I have also made some pages about that, but I have not ready that at the moment. The rose is the rose of Harpocrates, and this is the rose of silence also. It means something silent, and the rose also for the Rosicrucians, rose in the middle of the cross, Rosicrucians, rose and cross, also stands for Venus, or in other terms for Lucifer. Yeah. Because the rose is not only red, and red is the color of sin and the color of, think of the scarlet, the color of sin and the color of blood. But the roses also had thorns, so you can get injured with the roses, which is one of the reasons that she is wearing handcloths. Yeah, so the rose is also for a blood sacrifice or for ritual. Yeah. That's not that what usual people think, that, oh yeah, red rose means love. No. Yeah. So this is the example here from the programming from Sirhan Sirhan. This is a part of his notebook. And in the notebook, you see hexagrams here, and you see which everything can be faked, of course. Yeah, everything can be faked. But it was very interesting because it's here mentioned Master Kutomi, which could be the same as Master Kutomi. Yeah, of course, it's not in there. Code Homi, which is a liege teacher of Theosophy, said to be one of Mahatmas that inspired the founding of the Theosophical Society in 1875. This is called Kotomi, also spelled Kutumi. US then Blavatsky and all the stuff. Yeah, you see that these people never have existed. These people have never existed. These are most likely images of demons. Like in a trauma-based mind control program. What do you think these programs from the Secret Service were all originated from? I told you once again that my inner belief is that it comes down from priests and their connections to spirits. So, you see there, Kutomi. Yeah? Once again, Wikipedia tells you it's Kutomi seems to be a pseudonym, and sometimes it's Kutomi. Yeah, so Theosophical Society. Yeah, there you got the hint. It has something to do with Lucifer. It has something to do with Theosophical Society, Madame Blavatsky, and all the alike. So, claim to be a diary. No. That could also be a programming or something that they put out in the open. Yeah, so that people who know what that means actually can decipher that, as we try to do at the moment. Yeah, Sirhan. Yeah, let us do it. Who's us? Who's us when he's acting alone? Let us do it. Yeah, so he's not alone because maybe he's a split personality, which I have learned is the real meaning of his name. Sirhan means it's a split identity. You don't have been named by your mother Brett.
That's right.
So that was the explanation which has been given to me in private years ago about that assassination on Kennedy, Robert F. Kennedy. So it has everything to do with the Secret Service, everything to do with secrets, and everything to do with secret societies, so with Satanism. Yeah. So if there was a Manchurian candidate, it was most likely Mr. Sirhan Sirhan at the assassination of Robert F. Kennedy. But maybe, just maybe, as the Manchurian Candidate movie came out in 1962, maybe there is another Manchurian Candidate in the killing of Kennedy. Because there is one thing that I missed out on purpose last time, and that is the death of the infant son, Patrick Bouvier Kennedy, on August the 7th. She went into labor and gave birth to a boy, Patrick Bouvier Kennedy, via emergency cesarean section at the Otis Air Force Base. The lungs were not fully developed, and the child died 2 days after birth. If that is correct, you see, everybody can be fooled. Yeah, so that both of them lost their son at the age of 2 days about 3 months before the assassination. So think about what kind of state she officially is as a mourning mother about the death of her child. I think that that is very underestimated when you think about go into the assassination of Kennedy. The First Lady officially was deeply affected by Patrick's death. You see that everything can also be faked, that we don't know if it is his son. We must assume it. We do not know if she was really in depression. We do not know if there was some kind of a an influence from outside that she has to give birth prematurely. Is it correct? Prematurely?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, 5 weeks ahead of we do not know. Yeah, maybe somebody kicked her. It can be everything. Yeah, but it is most likely that she gave birth to a child which only succeeded to live 2 days. And that's not the only one, because she had a miscarriage at the first child, and then the second child was born dead. I think it was in, I can't remember, 1950 somewhere, Jacqueline Kennedy. So that is very strange. Yeah, that is very strange on that woman, is that the number of dead infants or dead childs. Yeah, I think it is outstanding strange when you think about that First Lady mourning period, followed assassination, later years. Where are the children's family and childhood? First Lady, foreign trips, death of infant son. Jacqueline Kennedy suffered a miscarriage in 1955 and in August 1956 gave birth to a stillborn daughter, Arabella. So that was the 3rd time, Brad. Can you imagine of somebody who have that bad luck 3 times?
Mm.
I can't think of anybody. Yeah, so that is my thing, that she was very, very, very depressive, maybe, if that story is correct, or some big things are coming up, because it was just 3.5 months before the assassination. Yeah. Yeah, and what did she do? Yeah, she visited her friend Aristotle Onassis, who was aware of her depression and invited her to his yacht to recuperate. President Kennedy had reservations, but then he believed that it would be good for her, and she was accompanied then by her bodyguard. And then if he believed that Eric 777, that this Aristotle Onassis, that Greek billionaire, not millionaire like Kennedy, but billionaire, was also Sovereign Military Knight of Malta, coming from that video. So that is very strange when you know that also that the father of John F. Kennedy tried to keep her silent, I don't know which year, for 1 million, to not let her divorce from his son John F. Kennedy, not to ruin the presidency, because Kennedy was about to campaign for a second time in 1964. Imagine that when she would have divorced him, I think that would have spoiled his chances to become president once again, Brad.
Mm-hmm.
So the father of Kennedy, officially or unofficially, has offered her $1 million to stay together with John. And then she went a few weeks before the assassination to a Greece island called Scorpios, like Scorpio. And we know how the scorpions are being mentioned in the Bible. To visit then Mr. Aristotle Onassis. Yeah? And then imagine this Aristotle Onassis guy. Profession. Can't. Brad, you don't know what his profession was.
You told me some time ago. I can't retain all this information.
Okay. So he was having a big fleet of ships. The world's largest privately owned shipping fleet, and was one of the world's richest and most famous men. Yeah. Yet now, please, just one hint. What was he carrying with all his ships? Where do
oil?
you? Yeah, absolutely. And that's when you got the connection to Dallas.
Aha.
It's so easy. It's
Yes.
so easy. Yeah. Jackie Kennedy was trained in her iconic Alice in Wonderland programming. That is one theory. You see, like a Pink Panther. Look at her face expression here. Yeah, look. Does she look concerned?
Hard to tell. It's kind of a grainy photo there.
Okay. She was together in Greece with Clint Hill, who were her personal bodyguards. So these two people, they were together with Mr. Onassis in Greece weeks before the assassination. What a coincidence. What a coincidence. That is generally not known. Yeah, she was devoted to her husband. Yes, that's why she went on a boat with Aristotle Onassis and later married that guy, huh? Oh my. So that was not a miracle that she was taken out. She was a socialite. She wanted to become something big, Miss Jacqueline Lee Bouvier. Yeah, and she made a poetry about JFK. She said that it has something to do about Greek mythology. For he must go seeking the golden fleece. The problem is that the order of golden fleece also had not only something to do with the Jason and the Argonauts, but it's a military order. It's a Catholic order with
That's
William, House of Orange, King of Netherlands. Yeah, Orange, Agent Orange. And all the Habsburgs and Colonnas and all the families of Jesuits, Grand Master of the Order of Malta, and all the branches, the kings and queens and princes, and yeah. So that's really a problem. You got everybody. Everybody is suspicious here. When JFK had some connections with women, and their women were attracted to him, of course, or being played to be attracted to him by Kurt Meyer, by CIA people. Yeah, so you don't know where to look at. It's all a big mess. Yeah, and of course he was been together with the organized crime with Johnny Rosselli, who later was been found murdered when he was going to witness. Yeah, in the background you see here Mafia, John F. Kennedy, Johnny Handsome Rosselli. And Frank Sinatra sponsored Rosselli for membership in the exclusive Los Angeles Friars Club. Wonder what that kind of a club is, no? When
Friars Club.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you're not Catholic, then I don't think it's easy to get that one.
Shortly before this mafia guy Rosselli testified, an unknown person shot and killed Giancana in the basement of his Illinois home. This happened just days before Giancana was to testify before the committee. What a coincidence, huh? His decomposing body was found by a fisherman in a 55-gallon steel fuel float drum floating, etc. Yeah, and of course, officially he was one of the shooters. Yeah, sure. You have to believe it. And James Files too, and there are dozens of shooters there on the Dealey Plaza. Maybe they are shooting some, I don't know, tin soldiers or what, don't know. It's like a circus around there. It's really like a circus. I'm so fed up with all the Kennedy thing. You see that everybody, also somebody in the, which is befriended with the James Jesus Angleton counterintelligence, also a wife or a friend of him was having an affair with Kennedy. So there's so much going on. Officially, you can't prove anything. So first of all, she was engaged with John Hussey Jr., a stockbroker, and then when she learned that he made just $70,000 a year, that would be equivalent of $160,000, she just split up, and he said she was ice cold, like we never knew each other. Yeah? So that lady went on to then marry that handsome and very wealthy senator called John Fitzgerald Kennedy. He was a millionaire. Yeah, and later on, then she did go further, and then she married a billionaire. So, for the love of money is the rule of for the love of money is the rule of all evil, huh? In social circles, yeah, and you can't imagine that. You see that the Baron George de Mohrenschildt Where to start? Where to start? Yeah, he was closely related to Lee Harvey Oswald, and sorry, it's just I'm so fed up with the Kennedy thing. Yeah, because there are no coincidences. Yeah, during a stay at the Long Island in summer 1938, he was getting to know the family of Bouvier. Yeah, the 9-year-old Jacqueline Bouvier. 9 years old, yeah. She was getting to know somebody from the CIA. But that must just be a coincidence here. It is just a coincidence. It is just a coincidence because you see, in Dallas, he got an appointment, or he got a job at being advisor at the oil baron called Clint Murchison. That is the exact spot where one day or one evening before the assassination, all the old people at Lyndon B. Johnson and what's the name? Edgar J. Hoover and all met. Yeah. That's the same guy who met then Jacqueline Kennedy at the age of 9, and he having a profession at Murchison. If you don't see all the things, you see that it's all the same. It's all the same. It's just, I don't want to be repetitive, but it's just all the same. Yeah, it's all the same. It's all the same. Yeah, the Mohrenschildt later on was being suicided, so to speak, most likely. Yeah, so I don't want to go into this, but this is the Mohrenschildt is CIA, has a connection to Oswald, has a connection to Jacqueline Kennedy, and has a profession at Clint Murchison, oil baron, where all the people have been met the day or the evening before. Oh, not that Epstein, no. Yeah. Jean de Mohrenschildt, his wife. And de Mohrenschildt introduced Marina Oswald and Lee Harvey Oswald to Ruth Paine. Yeah, and as Lee Harvey Oswald didn't have a driving license, Ruth Paine was the driver. And Ruth helped Oswald to get a job at the Texas School Book Depository, which was owned by Mr. Bird, who was an oil millionaire who was at the home at Clint Murchison the day before. So thousands of indications that there is something to do with it. Sorry. Yeah, and also that guy here, that is also very interesting. Jack Valenti, before I go to the nitty-gritty, Jack Valenti also was present here at the inauguration at Lyndon B. Johnson when she was not wearing her costume with the blood splatter on, which you can clearly see here. Yeah, there is no cleaning garage which can provide that within 2 hours, including driving to and driving from. Yeah, so she had different clothes, most likely. So that Jack Valenti was present at the assassination and became a close aide to Lyndon Johnson. What kind of a coincidence? Yeah, and later was the head of the MPAA. And with excellence is Honorable Jack J. Valenti, Special Assistant to the President, and he could be called. Yeah. Oh my. You see that all these people here, he was just for the, what is it here, the MPAA. MPAA is Motion Picture Association. Yeah? Representing the 5 major film studios of the United States. Yeah, what coincidence? What coincidence? The CIA files on him, yeah, but then he became a special advisor to the President Lyndon B. Johnson. Yeah, and so the case is closed. Yeah, you can go endlessly in that. Yeah, he helped with the television broadcast of Kennedy's meeting of Protestants in 1960. You remember that Houston administration when he said that I am not the Catholic candidate for president? Yeah, one of the supporters was Mr. Valenti. And then he was having a job as a special assistant to the president. Yeah, and a certain Steven Spielberg, I don't know if you are familiar with that name, said he was the best ambassador that Hollywood ever had. Yeah, so this is all everywhere. If you look everywhere, these are just influential people. Roman Catholic Knight of Malta, Joe Kennedy. Roman Catholic Knight of Malta, Jack Valenti. Everywhere you stumble upon these people. If you would really have a summation, Brad, of all the people involved in the Kennedy assassination, and you would exclude Freemasons, Jesuits, and Sovereign Military Knight of Malta, then Didi Plaza would be an empty space.
Yeah, right.
Almost. Yeah.
It wouldn't even exist.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah. So let's look it up. I think that's most likely it. Yeah. No, JFK was never the good guy. JFK was just wanted not to obey the Pope, and we will prove that that is Rome behind it. And I think that we will use some other methods soon. Mm-hmm. Okay. So, but his son JFK also had a plane crash, of course. This. At the day of the release of Ice White Shot, but of course he's got yeah. So let's go on into this. So this conspiracy theory, so to speak, says that she was educated on being somebody important. Her father was a stockbroker, a member of the Society of Cincinnati, and all the things. So to conquer America for the Roman Empire, she was Catholic to the core. She was Catholic to the core, and she even has a symbol which then, at her age, was during the Second World War. She must know what that is, a symbol for Nazi Germany. But that's not the big thing. The big thing is, or the interesting things is coming up. Jackie was a little bit late at the Fort Worth breakfast before they took off to Dallas on the morning of the assassination. Together, she's been seen with her private bodyguard, Clint Hill. The two of us had made the visit to Onassis a few weeks before. And yeah, Jackie had all the power. And every time she wears that pink suit with her hat, yeah. And she was complaining that, oh, it was so terribly hot. Yeah, then why does she not drop her head? Yeah, that serves also another purpose. Many people think that, oh, she has not dropped her head because for the shooters that they did not shoot her. But you see that if you exclude the shooters, then what is left? Okay, so foreknowledge of the JFK assassination by complicit media, that's debatable here. But you see that Clint Hill is every time very close to Jackie. Yeah, these two know each other very well. Okay, so then just skip to them. So when the usual approach in Texas is the famous yellow rose of Texas, but she was being handed then red roses, which is also can be seen as a symbol of black blood sacrifice. I go absolutely accord to that. Okay, so, and of course, when blood is hitting her Chanel suit, Chanel suit, then it is not so obvious than if you would wear a white or a light gray dress or something like that. Yeah, so that they were then heading on to Dallas. And then soon she can be seen kind of signalizing to a CIA agent called David Morales. That was the picture I've showed you before, but that's not that is coming up also. Her family was Jesuitically trained. These both, she also gave birth to the son in a Jesuitical hospital, and Kennedy had a Jesuitical Douay-Rheims Bible. So what else do you need? Yeah. She spent the night on Onassis boat just a week prior. I'm sure she saw Greer shoot him. I don't know. Yeah, you see that. I know that she at least must have seen Greer pointing the gun in her direction. Just a possibility. This is the Morenschild family, CIA, close ties to the Soviet Union, close ties to Oswald, of course. Close ties to Ruth Paine and all the things. And the researchers here say, Hook and White say that they handed over some kind of gun at that time at the arrival at the airport. But I could not figure out also I could not figure out from the grainy picture here. Yeah, hidden in a doll, yeah, so to speak. Okay, so let's look it up. The Lamb Chop, CIA assassin Jackie Kennedy's Trojan horse. That lamp shot is a little kind of a dog here, been hidden under the roses from Mrs. Kennedy. And many people assume that there is a gun inside that doll. So you see here one picture where you see then the white handkerchiefs of Jackie Kennedy and that kind of a strange arrangement here. And of course the red roses, which of course in a black and white movie appear to be black. So that is the picture I meant here. You see that here David Morales, somebody else is claiming that it's not David Morales, and it seems that she's giving a kind of salute here. But what is absolutely certain is that this guy, Lucien Conain, was responsible for the attack of the Vietnamese, I think it was Premier Minister Diem, this name, okay, Vietnam Prime Minister Diem Minh or so, on the 1st of November, so 3 weeks prior. So that is CIA here. So there are many, many CIA people, and it looks like that she is giving a salute. And it's likely that this is Baroness Philippine Mathilde de Rothschild, being born on the same day, 22nd of November, 1933. You know that the Rothschilds are the keepers of the treasures of the Vatican. And you see once again here the half-raised window. So when she said it was terribly hot, why did not she order to lower the window to get more air? So it contradicts. Also, she could have stepped out more easily to the left side than on the trunk, but that's for a later session now. Yeah, and you see that it's CIA everywhere, of course. Also that David Morales, if that is the guy, has been seen at the Ambassador Hotel at the killing, at the assassination of the younger brother of Kennedy, Robert F. Kennedy. If that is correct, I don't know. Yeah. And yeah, that was the so-called dog or the doll that a witness called Jean Hill had seen. I saw a fluffy little white dog between them. These are the people at least involved in the assassination. The radio spotter Kellerman, who was the boss of Mr. Greer, who was alleged to be the main shooter, and Mrs. Kennedy, who has to see Mr. Greer putting out the gun, and of course Mr. Clint Hill, yeah, who was accompanying Mrs. Kennedy to Onassis. Yeah, so these people are at least in the operation, and I would include the governor and his wife. So Jackie does not do anything after JFK allegedly is shot in the back. I'm not convinced that JFK is shot in the throat. I'm absolutely not convinced. I have another idea to that. Comes soon in later session. Jackie pulls his arm away from his face. Yeah, you see that is very strange action that she holds. And then she's holding him in a position. And then, of course, in 313, he has been shot. There will be missing frames here, of course. That's clear. So Connolly was hit. I'm absolutely not convinced that Connolly was hit, because if you are hit, you're not holding your head like this. Yeah, if you are hit in the wrist spread. Yeah, so I think that Connolly is an actor. Yeah, he just acts so that it appears that the shots are coming from the outside, and then for the best part of the Warren Commission from the back, from the Texas School Book Depository. Okay, so then let's get it on. Yeah, nothing new here. Yeah, so at least there is a plan B or plan C, that if somebody would not have succeeded, then the other one takes over. So it can't be that at the assassination of an American president, you only have one shooter. That's absolutely unlikely. Yeah, okay. John Mother's just coming in and saying that the bicycle is riding good. Ich habe das auch neu aufgepumpt. Also ich weiß nicht, habe ich das aufgepumpt? Muss ich mal gucken. Ja,
nur der Sattel, der ist ein bisschen tief. Also
tief? Der muss noch höher.
Ein bisschen höher kann der, aber wir wollten das und dann wurde der so wackelig und aber
Ich fahre eine halbe Stunde mit dem Morris noch weg. Ich muss mal gucken, wohin. Aber ich fahre eine halbe Stunde mit dem. Der muss mal raus. Der liegt jetzt die ganze Zeit und hatte eben wieder Atemprobleme.
Ja, ja.
Der muss an die Luft, wenn die Luft einigermaßen...
Wir sind bis Waldesruh gefahren.
Ach so.
Ich habe bei Wolfgang eben das...
Reichen denn die 3 Gänge auch?
Ja.
Ja.
Klar, wäre schöner, wenn dann 500 aber es reicht.
Ja, okay.
Christian sagt auch, warum hast du kein E-Bike? Nee, ich sag, das muss.
Ja gut, da können wir immer noch. Ne?
Ja, sicher.
Wir können uns dann wieder steigern. Ne?
Ich bin im Moment.
Yeah, so mother satisfied with the bike. Okay.
Oh, good. Great. Great.
Yeah, so let's go on. So Greer is looking back, and then the shot occurs when he's looking back. So everybody assumes that, okay, you see a gun and he's looking back, then he's shooting the president. But maybe that's also only distraction there. Let's get it on. The little dog Jean Hill saw in the limo was Lamb Chop as Jackie Kennedy's CIA was putting her left hand in on the gun to shoot the president. So that is one heck of a theory. Yeah, but that could be true. Yeah, it's because you can hide then a small gun like the, as I told you, like the Beretta 950, for example. Yeah, Beretta 950, Beretta 950. Yeah, look at the size of the gun. Yeah, and look at the size of the gun. It's just one example. Yeah, and does not need to be. Yeah, but you got .25 caliber, and you got, I think it was 6 or 8 shots in that magazine. I think it was 8. Yeah, so from that close distance, you can kill anybody. That's no problem. Oops. Huh? Where am I? Here am I. Yeah. So many people say that, oh yeah, she was in on the hit. Yeah, especially when you would like to compare the frames. Look at the frame T13 and you see the trajectory here. Yeah, it's going upwards. Yeah, that's maybe the best indication. We know that there are missing frames, so it can also be that this is fabricated. It can also be that there are other shots which you cannot see, or which trajectory you cannot see. Yeah, but at least in that 313, it is absolutely clear that the trajectory is going upwards. So where is the shot been set? To the above, also from down below. So maybe she is shooting into or under his left ear. Yeah, and remember when that Brugioni guy, what is Mr. Dino Brugioni from the CIA is telling us, Brett? Above Kennedy's head. Yeah, not in front of Kennedy's head, not in the back of his head, not left, not right. Yeah, so when he's talking about a white cloud of smoke above his head, that is most likely the gunpowder. So that means that the gun is very close to his head, and when the trajectory is going upwards, so at least it seems to be, it could also go to the left, but it's very straight upwards, then I would say that he's been shot from down to, from that location upwards. Yeah, and so that would mean that that was not a shot from the driver here. Not that frame. If that frame is intact, which we do not know, you cannot judge anything on the Zapruder movie, as we know. Yeah, and also this blood is on the left side, so that is very strange because that if you compare that picture here, it seems to be that his forehead is exploding. Yeah, but in the Parkland Hospital, it has been described that there was a big hole in the back of the head. Yeah, so when there is a big hole in the head, then it means that it's an exit hole. Then it means that the entry must be from the other side, the opposite side. So when there is on the presidential head, when there is a wound at the back of the head of the president, JFK head wound, autopsy. Yeah, it must be the other way around. So he must be shot from the left to the right. Yeah, and that is absolutely untrue here because the that's totally nonsense here. Yeah, so the exit of the bullet is the opposite of the entry. So when he's got the exit wound described in the hospital here, be it small or large, yeah, then the entry must be on the left side. Yeah, on the opposite side. So that is maybe he was shot through his ear to the right side. Because when you shoot somebody through the ear, you got the least resistance. I think so. I have not studied biology, but I would assume that. Yeah, and here you see that picture of the blood-spitting bench, and allegedly lamb chop with one hole blown out of the head. And then you can assume that, oh my, maybe that is also another, what do you say in English now? Deception. Yeah, because why would they left it out here in the limousine? I don't know. But at least it's a theory, because the analyzers say that the trajectory quite clearly is going upwards, and the smoke is clearly from a close range shot. Yeah. And that would also be correct, or most likely, because Abraham Lincoln, Brett, was also shot with a handgun and not with a rifle.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So if they claim it is James Files or somebody else, or Roselli, and from the storm drawer, from the grassy knoll, I don't give a peep, because I don't think that anybody would try to put Connolly and Jackie Kennedy into that kind of danger. So maybe that went in that direction here, from left to the right. Yeah. Must be the opposite side. Yeah. So he was been shot from the left. Of course, there were Jackie Kennedy was. So in any way, whoever had shot Kennedy, she was at that close range that she had to knew where the shot actually came from. And Hugh Betzner said that there was a firecracker going off in the presidential car, and he was seeing something looked like a nickel revolver in somebody's hand. Yeah, so yeah. You see that even in that comparison here on the Auburn Nix film, you see above Kennedy's head there is some fragments, some debris, and it is above. It's not below. It's not on the left side. On the right side, it's clearly above. So that means that the shot came from bottom to the top. That's the most likely explanation. Yeah, and I don't give a damn on Mr. Files. I don't believe for any second that somebody fired that shot from a grassy knoll downwards. Yeah, it has been stated here that is almost even, but it is downwards. When I looked at that game, JFK Reloaded, I saw that it was very downwards. So no. I don't think so. I absolutely don't think so that everybody would risk the life of Jackie Kennedy or Lyndon B. Johnson. At least she has to know where the shot came from. At least. It's the least you can tell about her. Yeah, and when you know that for the love of money is the root of all evil, Brett, 1 Timothy 6:10, yeah, then you really know that she is in for the money. At least then you got a motive. And I give that orange color here, I give that to the Freemasonry. Yeah. And maybe they have also some ear protection here, I don't know, because I can't see that properly, because it must have been a loud bang here. Also, if you have a sound silencer, but anyway, you have to recognize it. And later on, Connolly said in an interview, yeah, the third shot that rang out was louder than the other ones. Yeah, sure. Because the other ones were firecrackers, and that was a real shot inside the limousine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, and all the evidence was been gotten rid of by the FBI. Yeah. So there is, but that is a trajectory. The bullet must have landed here or anywhere else. Yeah. So, yeah, they have picked up all the bullets and then presented some bullets. But if you would have the gun or you would have researched the limousine, then you would also know who the murderer is. But as the government has been getting rid of the limousine, yeah, so the government wants to hide everything that they are complicit in, that they have been partaking in. Now you can't prove it because actually the car has been gone. Yeah, and that was the work of SMOM, Lee Iacocca, who later then went on to become the president of the Chrysler Corporation, if I remember correctly, and also been set up to publish the Ford Mustang 1 year later. And then he became world famous. Yeah, so really military Knight of Malta. Like all the other guys. Yeah. So that's the most likely thing, not to hurt anybody. You shoot directly in front of the victim, so you can't hurt Connolly and drivers and any bystander. I would think that Yeah, let's do it another session. Yeah, if she got a special pistol, I don't know. Yeah, maybe she's got an Italian pistol, maybe she's got Italian ammunition. I don't know. I think it was a special ammunition to explode like a dum-dum or like a special explosive. Yeah, to create that effect. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't care also, but I doubt that it was a classical weapon like the weapon of Abraham Zapruder. I don't think that they have risked it, that he only got one try or so. That I don't know. I don't know. I don't care. I want to get rid of all the Kennedy stuff. I'm more interested in the background of Kennedy, which was much more interested than in the assassination itself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'm just doing it that you don't blame me about, oh, you could have gone into the assassination as well. Yeah, you see that you can't prove that. Yeah, you can only prove that he was most likely been shot from a close distance and that she has to know. Yeah, so if there were dozens of people involved, I highly doubt that. Yeah, so what coincidence when in 1/18th of a second, two people are shooting at the same time at the president. You have to believe that. Yeah, you see that. I highly doubt that it is that so much coincidence. But you see that it's all a fabricated movie. You can't prove anything. You only can say that if Rugoni has been a reliable source, then he said there's a white cloud of smoke, 3 or 4 frames, and above the president means that the shot came from below. Yeah, and not from the front and not from the side and especially not from the back. Yeah, so maybe it has been done with a lamb shot puppet. Yeah, maybe not. We don't know. Yeah, nobody can know. Yeah, but what I know is that she had a clean suit. Yeah, that's what I know, and it does not look like that suit. Yeah, it looks like a brand new suit or dress. Yeah, so. Many people who had something to do with it were murdered also. Mary's Mosaic, Mary Pinchot Mayer. Can't imagine how many people were shot after that. Also, he wanted to most likely investigate the matter. Robert Kennedy was been shot by Sirhan, so split personality. And later on, she became then the wife of Aristotle Onassis. And then she could ride in all the fancy cars and have an own island. And yeah, she had to wait a few years. And then she went on to marry him after Robert Kennedy was also shot. Not saying that she's involved in the shooting, but nevertheless. Oh, what a world. And you don't think that the Bible is correct, putting out that in Luke 4 and Matthew 4, that everything materially, in a materialistic way, power, possession, glory has been handed over to Satan to prove. When you see all the mess around, all the mess. The funeral took place on the 3rd birthday of John F. Kennedy Jr., who happened then to die in a plane so-called accident, together with his fiancée, if I can remember correctly. Come on, this is a filthy world. This is a Pink Panther. Yeah, and the Pink Panther not only is depicted in the Bible, not as pink, of course, but as in the book of Revelation 13:3. Yeah. You know that verse which we talked about, that by the Zapruder movie.
Oh, you know what's really interesting, Michael, you bring this up. And I saw one of his heads, as it were, wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. I think that verse is mentioned in one of the chapters, one of the last chapters I was reading of the 7th vial before I took a little break there.
You know, there is even a perfume called 313. Can you imagine that? Woman, 313. What a coincidence. Like the same frame in a Zapruder movie. Because it's not only the frame which has a resemblance to 313. I said once the Proverbs, but there is also something within Genesis chapter 3. You know, the fall of mankind. Look it up, Brett. In Genesis chapter 3, what's the verse of 13?
And the Lord God said unto the woman, what is this that thou hast done? And the woman said, The serpent beguiled me, and I did eat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or maybe the woman, or maybe the serpent beguiled me and I did shoot. Yeah, it's very interesting. This 313 is so fitting to many things. Yeah, but when I discovered there was also a perfume called 313, I said, oh yeah, that is no coincidence here. Huh?
Shoot to kill, as they say, Michael.
Yeah. Yeah, so please, dear audience, please bear with my school English today, but you cannot prove who really shot JFK. It is most likely that his wife is in on the hit. Yeah, when you know that, I don't know if I've mentioned that because we have shown that picture of Robert Kennedy murdered here in the Ambassador Hotel. You know that Miss Kennedy, Jacqueline Kennedy, was allegedly the one who told the doctors in the emergency hospital to shut off the life support system of Robert Kennedy. It was not his wife Ethel. It was Jacqueline Kennedy to order to shut down the life support. So Robert Kennedy never had a chance to investigate the murder of his own brother. And you can't point the finger to anyone, but we will go soon into the backgrounds and all the clerical backgrounds. And then, maybe then, we get some interesting hints on the assassination and why Kennedy has been shot, why Kennedy has been killed officially or executed officially. It's not that interesting who did it and how they did it, although I have a special other theory about it. But yeah, well, we're not through with the assassination here. What I'm through with is just look at that. You see that in 313, that is the last 5 sessions of this episode here. You see that is a fatal shot, and you know that every frame now takes 1/18 of a second. So 18 frames later, we would be at 331 or 332. And look what she's doing in 1 second. So look at this. This is allegedly, of course, frames were missing, will be missing in 1 second. Yeah? So no scream, no hands for the face or so. Yeah. So that is the first second. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. She's letting loose. Yeah. She's not supporting her husband anymore. She's letting loose. Yeah. She looks at him. Okay. He's dead. And now comes the second. The second. Yeah. Can you imagine that your husband will be shot right beside you? You would be in a state of shock, Brad. Or would you?
Yeah,
you would. Okay, you would, of course. Yeah. So in the second, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah, she is heading towards the trunk. Although there will be nothing there. Maybe some smaller matter, but she's not interested in him anymore. Okay, it's like her first boyfriend. Okay, oh, you're just making so less money. Okay, I'm gone. Like if she was so cold, he said about the splitting up, like we never knew each other, and that's the same behavior she now has when the task is fulfilled. So what does that look like? Does that look like a caring housewife and mother? For me, that looks like a CIA agent and a CIA mission.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
This is 2 seconds after, according to that movie, of course, 2 seconds after he's been shot. Regardless who shot him. Okay, I'm out of here. My next date is Clint. And that's why I insisted on that Project Blue Bird and Alan Dulles and all the connection with the CIA, because only then her reactions are really understandable. Where is that movie? That will pass the YouTube. I have tested that before. Okay. So when he's approaching the Stamets freeway sign, then his arms are going up. Yeah, so maybe he can't breathe anymore. You know that this CIA programs means to intoxicate somebody. Yeah, so maybe he was not shot at all. Maybe that shot to the throat has been made after that, but maybe he was just been intoxicated at the moment. So if there is a shot, you see that when it is occurring inside a limousine, there is nobody who can shoot Mr. Kennedy at the moment. But it's not coming from the outside, I suppose. So please compare this Zapruder movie to the Orwell Nix movie from the other side. These are just Hollywood movies here. Yeah, don't look at it. Look at the right side, please. Okay, so I will try to slow it down once again. It's half a speed, so it's just slow motion. Yeah. So look how she is reacting to her husband and the father of her child. Yeah. Look very carefully. If somebody would, yeah, wouldn't you take a closer look, go to him and comfort him, hold him in her arms? What she's doing here? What she's doing here? Please, I will slow down once again. Yeah. Please look very carefully what she is doing here. Yeah. Using her right arm, push down his left arm, and then using her left arm two arms against his one to push the arm down. Is that a usual behavior, Brett?
Yeah.
Yeah. She wants to have control over his body. She's not supporting him, but she's trying to get control over him. It seems. It's 266. It's about just 3 seconds latched to that files, of course, to that frames before the impact. So it looks like she is struggling with him. Yeah, it looks like he's paralyzed or something like this because he's also not moving his head. Usually, if somebody would struggle beside you, he would look to the face of his wife, wouldn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But he looks straight like he's paralyzed. So 2 seconds before the impact. Yeah, there's a split here in that movie or in that frame, maybe. Yeah. And now she's getting herself into position. Yeah. She's approaching him. He's just looking down. He can't move his head. And now the Nix film also comes into play from the other side, but please continue on Zapruder. She's getting closer to him, very close, and she's looking at him. And that's the position now for the final shot. And so close that she's with him. You see, you really think that James Files had then shot him at that distance of, I don't know, what is it, 50 feet or so from distance? Or that Greer is shooting in front of Kennedy and then also in front of the nose of Jacqueline. You would take that risk? I don't think so. Yeah. So you see 10, 11, 12. That is the last picture seeing JFK alive. Yeah, in both movies, if that is correct, if that is in the right line of events. Yeah, so if you really want to judge anything on the Zapruder movie, you see that she is struggling with him. She's not supporting him. She could have told the driver, we need help or something like this. No, she does not do anything but to control his left arm. Yeah, and then when you know that the exit wound is here, is now happening, then the shot must come from here. So she is getting him into position. You see that from that perspective, yeah, she is leaning towards him, but she only has to lead towards him, Brett, when he's still not moving his head towards her. Because I think that he's paralyzed. He's like a sitting duck. Remember, that is the altar here. Yeah, and now the famous shot occurs. And you see here an artifact in the Orwell Nix movie. Yeah, you see that here some brain matter or some skull or what else is flowing. You see that black spot here. You see that above Kennedy's head. No, computer has stopped. Don't know why. Yeah, you see that here? Ah. My. Come on, computer. Yeah, there it was. In that area above his head, not to the trunk. Yeah, when there would be a shot from the grassy knoll, then the bullet or the exit of the head would land on the trunk. Yeah, there you see it. Yeah, it's above his head, the artifact or what it is. Yeah, and the trajectory goes upwards. So that's it. Yeah, he has not been shot from the front, not from the left, not from the right, not from the bottom to the top, above. And now she's reacting and said, okay, get rid of the body. Yeah, yeah, it's me. I have to go onto the trunk. Yeah, sure, officially because of any part of the skull, or alternatively to get away from Greer, but Greer can't push the accelerator down and then to shoot over his shoulder blindly. That can't happen. Yeah. So why she's crawling on her knees, Brett? Any idea?
Well, maybe repulsed.
I got two ideas of that. The first one is we imagine that is an altar. She's kneeling down. Yeah, the ritual has been done. Blood sacrifice has been made, and she's kneeling down, greeting her God. That would be the first idea I had. I know that sounds a little bit strange or sophisticated or what. That's the first one. The second guess is she's playing the victim here. And she says, oh, I'm so vulnerable. You see that if she would have scared to be a victim, you don't present yourself on that big scale. You would have to duck and cover. Yeah, but she's not doing that. She's just presenting herself as the victim, the vulnerable.
It's an act. Then you're saying it's an act.
Yeah, absolutely, yes. Mm-hmm. And at that speed, she's acting. That is just 3.5 seconds after. Yeah, that is just being pre-programmed. For me, that is pre-programmed. You don't act that fast. Yeah, or dozens of frames are missing. Yeah, so you have both possibilities, but you don't act like this. Yeah, so this is just acting. Yeah, to have also his body is then falling into the limousine, so nobody sees his head wound. Yeah, yeah. So that's it. It's just a movie here. It's all just movies. Yeah, it's all just a big stage. The world's a stage. All the world's a stage. And that's why I came up with a conclusion. Yeah, and that's the Umbrella Man. That is really the end of the session then. You see the Umbrella Man. You see that famous or infamous Umbrella Man here at the side when JFK has been passed the sign, so it must be about frame, I don't know, 225 or so. And you see him also from that perspective. Okay? So if there are no shooters from the outside, why do they need an Umbrella Man? Because officially they say that, oh yeah, he was just protesting against the appeasement politics that his father, Joe Kennedy, has supported in the Second World War, and the famous the famous umbrella user was Neville Chamberlain from Great Britain, and his father supported that, and all the blah 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 has nothing to do with JFK. So that is the first thing, which is absolutely laughable. The second thing is that many people think that, oh yeah, he was responsible for the assassination shooters, that they gave the signal that the first shot or the second shot missed and he was not been hit fatally. But imagine, from that distance they claim, from the Texas School Book Depository, from the grassy knoll, they would have used scope. They see that with their own eyes. They don't need any umbrella man. That is just also a distraction for the bystanders, that they think, oh, there's something to it. And I think there is something to it, but not in the regards that any people think. So, because that if he is not a visible sign for the shooters, for whom else, Brad, he's a visible sign?
I don't know. You got me.
I got you.
Yeah.
You see, the theory is has something to do with the appeasement politics. That's BS. Has something to do with the shooters to give a sign is also BS. The third BS theory is that he has something to do with the killing of Kennedy, because inside his umbrella there's a hidden mechanism which is then shooting a poison dart or something else at the region of Kennedy and then is been poisoning him. That is not the first shot, but that's the first dart, the first hit on Kennedy.
Huh, that's loud.
Yeah. Hilarious, huh? Yeah,
yeah.
That's. I think that's James Bond had nothing to do with it. But if you think that what you have learned in that session, there is quite another possibility. You know, there is a singer called Rihanna, and you know that these all are mind-controlled people. And Rihanna is having an orange version, yeah, Freemason orange version of Umbrella. And in that Umbrella song, she says that. Umbrella, Ella, this totally stupid thing. When she says that, come under my umbrella, you can stand under my umbrella. Everybody thinks that, oh, she's so generous that in case of any rain, she will protect you from any harm. Yeah, I don't think that is the real meaning of that song. And that I came across a former session of the Satanic Music Agenda Revealed. You see, this is just part of this Rihanna movie. You see all symbolism here, could be Freemasonry, etc., could be anything. And I came to the conclusion there is something else with it. And this is the video of Grace Jones. Grace Jones, a Jamaican singer, also playing the villain in some James Bond movie, so to speak, Mayday. Yeah. So this Grace Jones, you might know her, Slave to the Rhythm. Grace Jones has her biggest hit, so to speak, Grace Jones, Slave to the Rhythm, where she said, there is a master, okay, slave to the rhythm. And in that Slave of the Rhythm, which I could not present on YouTube, I managed to extract all the segments of it. It starts with a so-called architect here, yeah, which of course could happen to be something to do with Freemasonry, the architect of the universe, go out to, and the start of that depicts here a hand which has a damage here on the middle finger, speaking of Saturn, speaking of Satan. Rhythm, said the narrator, is both the song's manacle and its demonic charge. It is the original breath, it is the whisper of unremitting demand. Yeah, you see that it's nothing to do with the Bible. The original breath is coming out of God, put into the nostrils of man, and they say that rhythm is the demonic charge. Yeah, it's like Peter Gabriel, C.J. Young, Rhythm of the Heat, boom, 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 initiation rhythm, etc. So, but she says in that song, she is a slave to the rhythm. Yeah, so there's somebody controlling here. And now compare that, please, with a picture of that very movie here. When I explained or tried to explain that picture here, I came across that symbolism here. And I explained that them as umbrella, occult meaning of a 1985 movie, Female Uterus or Fertility. Black means the satanic seed or death. That is from that video here. And now please compare that with the Umbrella Man. Look at Mrs. Kennedy. Where does she look in that picture here? Brett, are you still with me?
Yeah, I can't really tell. It's kind of blurry.
Okay, so then we know that it happened somewhere around frame 225. Okay, then we go back to the movie. Oh, Norris is awake. You have to stop soon. Yeah. You see that she's clearly looking to the right side.
Yes.
Okay? She's clearly looking to the right side. Yeah. And now you see that if you be a little bit generous with me and my script, yeah, you can imagine that she's looking not only to her husband, but she's also looking to the umbrella man. And we know from this MK Ultra, MK Bluebird, MK Artichoke that these people need a trigger. And what if the umbrella man is the trigger for Mrs. Kennedy? That you see, the umbrella stands for the women womb, and for death, the color black. Yeah, so that maybe they have set a trigger into her programming. They had all the time in the world in Greece. They have set a trigger in their programming that every time she sees a black umbrella, that she's reminding of the death of her child. And then maybe she was programmed like, okay, that's the death of the child, and JFK is responsible, and God does not want to have our marriage to be continued, and he's the fault, and it's the third time that I lose a child. That is my hypothesis. Because then, really, the umbrella man gives the go signal, but to Jackie Kennedy, because everything is happening inside the limousine. And so that is my conclusion to the umbrella man. Signing off, hoping to have a more interesting session soon on Kennedy and all the clerical background. Handing it off to my beloved brother Brett. Thanks very much, and Maranatha.
Yes, Michael, these are not simple sessions here. This is not an easy subject, and of course, I think it's very interesting, all of the topics you're bringing forth, and yeah, it'll be even more interesting to see what the coming sessions will be and the conclusion of the series, of course. And that's how we're operating these. I believe we're going to be maybe a little dumbfounded like I am at the moment. It's not really a simple series here. This is quite elaborate and very sophisticated, so to speak. And yeah, impossible to prove 100%, but nevertheless, certainly there's a lot of things that I never knew about before we started this series, Michael. So very grateful that you come on board and bring us this information and something we can look back on. You know, I'm certain that those that were alive during the assassination might have a much different perspective in some ways, but maybe not. I don't know. I haven't really talked to anyone other than perhaps Daryl Eberhardt very briefly about it. But yeah, Daryl was telling me kind of the same thing, Michael, that he says it doesn't matter who killed Kennedy. It's that, you know, what was the loss? The loss was, you know, very significant. And of course, LBJ became president and we went back into Vietnam. So there was just way too many factors at play to point to his assassination. Yeah, we'll never be able to prove it without the shadow of a doubt. But I'll tell you, the more I look into this, the more I'm closer to what Michael is presenting us, that definitely there are a lot of big questions, and those questions are leading right back to the limousine. So thank you again, Michael, and we'll look forward to seeing everyone next time when we continue the series into the background of the JFK assassination. Until then, Maranatha.